fans like you. Hosted by a guy who's borderline obsessed with the wins and losses of all your favorite teams.
He's crazy.
Every weekday morning from 9 to noon, Ben Bosscher brings you the talk that matters. The teams, the stories, and the players you care about most. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair.
Remember that. Hello, and welcome into the Ben Bosscher Show, everybody. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. It's Big Win Wednesday, which means we're giving away a special prize at 10:15, as always, thanks to our friends over at Garber Chevrolet. Let's get right into it. The United States last night. I mean, they no longer can claim that we're the best baseball country in the world. I guess they call it America's pastime for a reason. It's because it's not the present day sport anymore, and you know what? After last night, 2 straight World Baseball Classics, the United States is not allowed to say that we're the best baseball country that exists in the world. It's Venezuela that takes it home, so I guess congrats to Miggy, congrats to Gleyber Torres, congrats to Magglio Ordonez, a lot of Tigers legends a part of that team, whether it's the coaching staff or on the current roster with Gleyber and Kiter Montero. First of all, the bats, let's get that out of the way, just completely disappeared in that game until Bryce Harper hit the tying home run to give the United States 2 runs. It didn't feel like an all-star team. You had all these all-stars go up to the plate, and all of them just over and over and over again, strikeout, strikeout, strikeout. Aaron Judge, the captain, 3 strikeouts throughout the night. This is more than just an all-star team. This is the juggernauts. This is the best players we have in the entire world. And they couldn't score more than 2 runs last night. Venezuela ends up winning, and I just really can't help but to wonder if there's some bad karma involved for Tarek Skubal just saying, you know what, I'm done. I don't care about this tournament. I'm going to claim that I want to be here, but I don't care enough to pitch in it. If you believe in karma, which I do, I feel like there is some bad karma working against the United States for Tarek Skubal basically saying, and I've seen this a lot, that, hey, we don't really care about the World Baseball Classic that much. You know who does? Venezuela. That's why they won. You know who cares about it? Team Dominican. Even though they lost in the semis, you had Julio Rodriguez saying out loud that he thought that this was more important to his career than winning a World Series. And clearly, nobody on Team United States had that same mindset, and it led to them losing and being embarrassed, humiliated. You know, I know they didn't get destroyed in the game, but man, they were the big favorites heading into this tournament. And now I'm seeing some pushback that online that, well, here's the thing. Nobody cares about this exhibition tournament. Yeah, like I said, good luck telling that to Venezuela. I thought yesterday was somewhat of a joke. This whole tournament for the United States has been somewhat of a joke. And, I mean, they're not doing their part in making sure that baseball gets put on a national stage. I think what Tarek Skubal did is absolutely disgusting. You know, I know there's some Tigers fans out there that just want him to get ready for the season. Okay, well, keep that same energy up with Dylan Larkin and the Olympics. Keep that same energy with Cade, and make sure you voice your opinion that Cade shouldn't be playing in the Olympics in 2028. Oh, it's just an exhibition? No, it's a lot more than that. Look at the way that Venezuela celebrated. Look at the way that Miggy was celebrating in the dugout last night. Maybe the United States, it's just an exhibition game, and that's why the rest of the world has passed the United States in back-to-back tournaments for the best baseball country in the world. Even though that the United States is supposed to have this all-star roster, they didn't deliver. I thought it stunk. And I think it's really unfortunate that this sport that was invented in this country 175 million years ago is no longer claimed by this country because the lack of care for this tournament. I'm not only mad at Mark DeRosa for not understanding the rules, not setting a tone. I'm not only mad at Aaron Judge, the captain, for just going 0 for 4, 3 Ks in that game and delivering the worst hype-up speech in the history of mankind. I'm not only mad for whoever the hell brought in that military guy to come hype up the team before the game. That was weird. Everybody else is listening to music and dancing and celebrating. We've got a war hero trying to hype up this team. Thought that was made a joke of the tournament as well. I'm also mad at every media person out there in the local cities that's essentially saying, yeah, this tournament doesn't matter. What are we talking about? Why does it not matter? It should. Do you care about baseball? Okay, if you do, this tournament matters. Just as much as the Olympics in hockey, just as much as the Olympics in basketball. At least that's the approach I took heading into this tournament. And maybe I'm out here by myself, and that stinks if I am. It stinks if I am the only one who really cares about this tournament, because that mindset has led the United States losing for the second consecutive tournament. I'm pissed off about it.
You have every right to be. And I think that if the United States would have won, there would be no, well, this is just an exhibition thing, it doesn't matter. Nobody would be saying that.
No, you want to know what people would do?
It's only because the U.S. lost.
You know, I don't know what people would do.
USA.
Yeah, USA. And then they'd be dumping on every other country just like they did with Canada when they beat them in the gold medal game.
Absolutely. That's the part about this that's so frustrating. All of the reaction to this is a very sore loser type of response. You know, it's an exhibition, doesn't matter. These guys got real baseball games to play coming up. It's the start of the season.
No, this was a real baseball game. Tell anybody in that stadium that wasn't a real baseball game, and they tell you you're nuts. You're nuts.
And there's two different options here. Either Team USA doesn't care as much as the other teams, which I think is totally viable, and if that is one of the options, that's just them being losers. How do you not care as much as the other countries? I mean, that makes no sense. All of those other teams have Major League Baseball guys on it too. Let's not act like Team USA is the only one that has a full 162-game season to get ready for.
Yeah,
there are stars on the Team Venezuela team.
Yeah, you think why do you not want Kiter Montero back in Detroit then? He couldn't care less about the Detroit Tigers season. He just won a World Baseball Classic. Things are going well for him right now.
Eduardo Rodriguez, who started this game for Team Venezuela, pitched awesome in this game, has been terrible in the major leagues the last 2 years, and was great in this game. He's not worried about what's coming up in 3 weeks. So either that's one of the options. Team USA doesn't care as much, which I really don't want to believe. But if that is what is going on, then that's terrible. Or
I don't think it's a debate. Sorry to interrupt you, but they clearly don't care. Venezuela took off school yesterday. Everyone went home from work early to make sure that they could watch this. This was a win for every single person in their country. They get to claim baseball for the next 4 years. United States, everyone in this country is basically saying, nah, who cares? That's loser stuff. Sorry, I interrupted.
Mark DeRosa probably thinks, okay, well, don't worry, guys. We got Game 2 tonight, so we'll come back, we'll storm back, win Game 2, and then win Game 3, because this guy doesn't know the rules of anything. But, yeah, either Team US doesn't care, which is the most loser mentality, of course, of all, because if you don't care, then why participate, and why put on this front like you do care when clearly you don't, or they're just taking this sore loser mentality, well, it's just an exhibition anyways, who cares anyways, Team Venezuela, congrats to them, but we have a full season to play. And if that's the mentality you're taking, that this is just an exhibition and it's not that big of a deal, then that also stinks. Nonetheless,
wipe everybody
terrible.
from that roster then.
Yeah. This is an embarrassment. It's absolutely an embarrassment. There's no ifs, ands, or buts around it.
I need Skubal off that roster. I need Judge off the roster because big moment Judge. We all know what happens.
What a loser.
I need... you know who really needs to be off that roster? Cal Raleigh. What a disaster. I don't even think he registered a hit in the World Baseball Classic. Not just the championship. He just was terrible.
Yeah,
straight up.
Big dumper, that's for sure.
He took a big dump in the World Baseball Classic. I want basically everybody off this team other than Roman Anthony and Gunnar Henderson and Paul Skeens. Everybody else should be we should be looking for people who actually want to come win this thing, and we're embarrassed and pissed off from what happened last night. All the young guys like Kevin McGonigal, these top prospects that were sitting at home watching this, I hope it pissed them off, and I hope they're motivated to get on this team because I can't stand that they lost this game last night. People would have been really upset if the hockey team lost to the United States. People would have raged, or it lost to Canada. People would have raged if LeBron and Steph and KD didn't get it done against France 2 years ago in the gold medal game. But the mentality we have after this as a country of the local media people just saying, yeah, but whatever. I'm glad Skubal sat out. Are you serious? You're glad Skubal sat out? Everyone's aware he pitched in a spring training game, right? 2 days ago. What's the point of pitching in a game like that when you could have been pitching in a game that actually matters? And there's no other person in this tournament Not a single other player that's had the mentality of, well, I got to get ready for the regular season. Everyone else is bought in. Everyone else views it as an opportunity to represent their country in one of the biggest stages that exists in baseball. Yet we have this guy, Tarik Skubal, who can't think about anything else for 5 minutes other than himself and his contract. I'm so unbelievably disappointed in him. He let me down. I mean, there's some people out there that view Tarik Skubal as their hero. There are some kids out there that view him as their hero. That's what heroes do. Elect to not play in the gold medal game. Do you understand the flack that a guy like LeBron would get if he was just like, I'm good on the gold medal game. I'm done. I'll play the pool play games, but then I'm good. But I'm going to sit on the bench, and I'm going to make this about me so the camera can take.
He got flack for that in the All-Star game 2 years ago.
It's insane. Tarik Skubal should be getting eviscerated on every local sports talk radio station, TV show, and national. Like any scale you want, he should be getting eviscerated for what he did to Team United States. Yet it feels like nobody cares. It feels like nobody cares about this more than I do, it's frustrating that no one else shares that same level of anger that the guy I'm supposed to look up to, maybe not look up to because it's not like I'm a kid anymore.
The guy who should be your favorite player on your favorite team, though. Like, no doubt about it.
Let us down. Point blank, period. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. Let us down. Walked away from the biggest moment. Walked away what could have been, up to this point, the highlight of his career if he shut down and won a gold medal game as a starter. Whether you like it or not, the Tigers don't have a World Series to their name with Tarik Skubal under their belt. And he's probably just going to get up and walk away from this city after putting on a front for 2 years that he's in love with it. He's just going to walk away next summer. Or next fall, I should say, after this World Series. I'm disappointed, to say the least, in a guy that we're supposed to view as the ultra competitor. At least that's a picture we've painted of him. Sorry to open up the show like that, but my God, man.
I mean, how
it's
can
crazy.
How can you watch that game last night and with obviously the lack of offense is what hurt Team US in the long run, but like Venezuela goes up 2-0 and I can't help but think they panned to Tarik Skubal in the dugout and he's goofing off, he's got a big smile on his face, he's having a good time, and I'm like, guy should be pitching in this game. That guy should be pitching in this game right now. We have Nolan McLean pitching in this game. Paul Skeens just pitched in the semifinals, man. Like, you could have had Skeen Skubal in the semifinal and championship game. There's no doubt in my mind Team USA wins that game if Tarik Skubal's pitching.
Yeah, and I see a lot of people just, he wouldn't have helped at the plate. They couldn't score any runs. Just bad karma all around.
Exactly.
What happens when they see one of the 3 best baseball players in the world
dominate a Venezuela lineup? Yeah.
Yes.
It sparks offense for Team USA. No doubt about it. That team had no juice last night.
But think about it vice
no
versa.
Juice.
And Skubal would have brought the juice on
That's
the
what
mound.
I'm saying.
Think about it vice versa, too. Oh, Skubal doesn't care, and now he's just chilling in the dugout. Well, why should I care? Like, what Skubal did, I'm sure there's no way he directly said, I don't care about this to
obvious,
anybody.
Though. I mean, it's just obvious.
The message that you indirectly send to your country, the entire World Baseball Classic, all of your teammates, all of your opponents, is that we don't care about this as much as everybody else. So when you send that message, even if it's indirectly, the rest of your teammates see it and feel it because you're in the dugout with the audacity to wear a Larkin gold medal jersey as well, a Larkin hockey jersey. Take that off, man. You don't get to ride the coattails of this. You don't get to just show up and party. You don't get to be Kash Patel showing up in the locker room and celebrating like you're on the team. I couldn't believe what happened last night. I couldn't believe that Tarik Skubal decided I'm going to show up in a USA jersey and then not pitch. Not pitch, but claim you couldn't miss the opportunity to sit in the dugout with your guys. Really? Really? Because you didn't have any problem sitting out of the entire game and not pitching in it. What a disgrace. 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mid. 9 o'clock hour, as always, is brought to you by our friends over at Iron Stack Technologies. We talk about the game plan all the time. Tarik Skubal's game plan is apparently just bow out of every great moment. At Iron Stack Technology, they don't do that. They help businesses solve real tech problems securely, efficiently, and without the headache. When your IT is working the way it should, everything else gets easier. Iron Stack Technology, solution-driven, mission-focused. You can find them online at ironstacktechnology.com. My question to the people is this. Are you pissed off at Tarek Skubal? Are you sick of this? Because I'm starting to be really annoyed with all this extracurriculars. It's every week. We're getting constant play-by-play updates on, oh, I love this city. I don't want to leave anywhere. We're getting these ridiculous quotes. His agent's talking out of his butt. I'm so annoyed with this. And to be quite honest, I'm ready to move on. I've accepted it. He's going to be gone next year. Kevin McGonigal, you're my new fascination on the Tigers. Congratulations. Because the guy it's supposed to be comes with all this extra baggage, and I'm sick of it. And last night just put me over the edge watching him hang out, laugh off, goof around in the dugout. Meanwhile, his team is losing.
You know, he had the opportunity to pitch, and you know what he did?
I turned it down.
989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on the Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building. By Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
Sorry, I get all worked up about this stuff, and then I feel like my voice gets super annoying, and now here we are trying to settle back into a show. I want to get everyone's thoughts, too. I'm trying to calm down a little bit, but I think people can tell I'm frustrated with this situation, not only because I feel like Tarek Skubal quit on Team United States, but I feel like, people have a sore loser mentality, and that's kind of the mentality that the United States took in the first place of, we just don't care about this as much as the other teams, and you could clearly see that last night. If you want to make the argument that this tournament doesn't matter and everyone should just be gearing up for the season, shame on you, dude. Like, seriously, shame on you. You know what that tells me? You're not actually a fan of baseball. You just like the Tigers. And that's okay, but you have to be able to admit that. I'm a fan of baseball. I thought last night and the entire tournament was fantastic. Just not for the United States, who 2 years in a row fall short in the championship because they don't care about it as much as Team Japan. They don't care about it as much as Venezuela. Good luck telling the Venezuelans that this tournament doesn't matter and it's an exhibition. That looked like the greatest moment of all of their careers. Look at the way the Miguel Cabrera celebrated. He was losing his mind.
Even in the dugout, like during the ninth inning before they'd even won, like he's sitting in the dugout just like
a kid on Christmas.
Clearly just like so intensely into this. And then they pan to the Team USA dugout and they're all just like looking like they're ready to fall asleep, man. It's just like, I don't know. I don't want to say that I was rooting for that to happen, but it was just like it got to a point in the game, even after the Harper or up until the Harper home run, where you're just like,
they deserve to lose.
Man, this team is not like they're not winning this game. Like
No.
Venezuela's absolutely winning, and then like poor Bryce Harper has this awesome moment, who just time and time again in his career has so many elite moments, and this one is right up there with them. But it's going to be forgotten, because immediately Team USA blows it. Like it was such an awesome moment for that Harper homer, and then it's just all for nothing.
And Team USA and Mark DeRosa knew that their bullpen was lacking. You know what would have been nice? An awesome starter. I think there's just bad karma involved in Tarek Skubal just deciding I'm good on this. That sends a bad message to the rest of your team. It sends a bad message. I bet Venezuela and Japan and all these other countries are thinking, this team's an easy team to beat. They don't care. They don't want it. They might be more talented.
Aaron Judge.
Yeah, exactly. They might have the most talent on the roster, but guess what? When push comes to shove in these big games, they choke. It's frustrating. So I'm frustrated with I'm frustrated with Tarek Skubal. I'm frustrated with the mentality that the United States took. Frustrated with the approach of other local media pundits out there that are basically saying that this doesn't matter. It's really annoying. I care about this tournament. I didn't think I was going to care about it as much. But you know what happens after hockey, the Olympic tournament? I'm like, man, we can experience the same thing. How exciting was that game against Canada? We can experience the same thing in a couple of weeks. And it felt like everyone was like, nope, doesn't matter. I don't care about this. Really? Because we lost? Or because you selfishly want the Tigers to do better? Because if that's the case, where's that same energy with Dylan Larkin shouldn't go to the Olympics? Where's that same energy with I don't know, Kevin McGonigal next time this Olympics rolls around? I better hope I hear all the Tigers fans again saying, well, I don't want Kevin McGonigal to go. He's got to stay healthy. It's ridiculous. It's an insane mentality. You like sports? Oh, okay. How about we put all the countries in the world against each other in baseball? Sound fun? Who says no? I don't get it.
And it's all the fans that always complain about how bad, all-star games are and all-star weekends and stuff like that. Like, this is the peak version of any sort of all-star weekend. Like, it is absolutely a home run compared to all of that stuff. And so for people to just say that, well, it's just an exhibition, it doesn't matter, it's the most sore loser mentality you could ever have. It absolutely matters. You wouldn't be saying that if Team United States had won. There's just no chance in hell anyone would have been saying that. And also, we have to remember, it's not like Team US came into this as the reigning champs.
No.
They lost last time, too, in the championship game. Like, it's not like they have owned this and it's like, a fluky year, whatever, doesn't matter. They couldn't get it going this year. No, like, this is back-to-back times they have lost this World Baseball Classic.
And I'm going to keep it real with all the Tigers fans out there. And I don't mean this as a diss. They're probably not winning the World Series. They have a 1 in 30 chance to win the World Series. Odds are not in their favor, okay? This could have been your chance to celebrate something that you haven't been able to celebrate, a baseball championship, since 1984. It's not the same apples
It's
to
not the
apples
same. It's not the same.
It's not the same apples to apples comparison. But you know what? It could have been something. The same way that hockey fans across this country, whatever team you root for, got to unify together and celebrate a gold medal game, even if it was just a 2-week team that you wrote out. You know, it's not like anybody out there's like diehard Team USA hockey in and out every single year. No, every 4 years you start paying attention to
You
this.
get to bandwagon.
Yes.
It's the one time you're allowed to do it.
And you could have done it with this.
I was rooting for Aaron Judge last night for the first time in my life. And then I caught myself, what the hell am I doing? This guy is a loser.
Screw this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
3 strikeouts.
And all of them just like he's the most complacent hitter in the lineup. And it's like, dude, you're Aaron Judge. Like, you're a ridiculously all-time great hitter.
We got a texter coming in saying, this is when I compared imagine if LeBron just sat out of a gold medal game, the scrutiny he would have. Someone said, LeBron has been paid. Skubal's waiting on $400 to $500 million. I guess. What's the worst thing that could happen? One game. I guess if I'm asking,
the
worst
point
thing that could happen.
yeah,
just
I mean,
blow
obviously
up
a
and die.
lot of things could happen. But like the comparison to that, he pitched in spring training. You know, like it's okay. So why not just pitch in the World Baseball Classic? The tournament itself has the restrictions, just like spring training does. You know, you're not seeing a starter go 6-7 innings in a spring training game. You're not going 7 innings in the World Baseball Classic either. You have the pitch limit. Like all that stuff is in place. So that's what I like. Sure, you can make the argument that, well, he's got a contract coming. Scott Boras didn't want him to pitch. Okay, then you can't make the argument that the Tigers didn't want him to pitch because I've been seeing that too. Which one is it? Why would the Tigers not want him to pitch? Did the Mets not want Nolan McLean to pitch? Did the Pirates not want Paul Skeens to pitch? Like, the Tigers could care less about the contract that Skubal's getting in the upcoming season because they're not the ones paying it. So if it's a Scott Boras thing, sure, but it can't be both.
Skubal's decision at the end of the day.
It's Skubal's decision. That's just the part that this all boils down to is you can say, yes, Scott Boras could be harping him to not pitch in this thing because he's an upcoming free agent, whatever. Scott Boras also is not the lone representation in the World Baseball Classic. He's everybody's agent, man. He has so many guys playing in this tournament. He's not holding all of them out.
And isn't the whole idea of Tarek Skubal that he just wants to compete and win a World Series, and that's why he would go up and leave? Isn't that the narrative that they've been spinning to us for years now, that all he wants to do is compete and win a World Series because he's a competitor out there? If that's true, he's pitching in a gold medal game. Sorry to tell you. What do we think? In a World Series game, because he's an upcoming free agent, Game 7, he would just sit out? No, that's insane. He could have earned himself and this country a gold medal last night, and he didn't want to. He opted out. Will says, from what I understand, that once Skubal left the team and was replaced by Vest, he's no longer able to participate.
Well, yeah,
because his spot was filled.
He couldn't pitch. Like, he was not allowed to pitch on the team. He just kind of hopped on the squad. All those guys that did leave the team were replaced via the roster. That's why Will Vest actually pitched last night, which shout out to Will Vest, by the way. But still, it's the fact that he did it in the first place. You know, like he could have never left the team. Well, and could have stayed with them and been on the roster. Like,
and that whole day last Monday, was insane.
I need to make an announcement that the decision is coming later this afternoon.
Yeah, stay tuned. I'm making a decision about my.
Is this the LeBron Miami Heat decision?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Are we broadcasting this live on ESPN? Like,
you may as well have.
What are we talking about? This is the thing with Skubal. He felt like the humble, homegrown, under-the-radar superstar that had become just the face of Detroit sports, right? That is not the truth. He has become a diva. He has become this superstar, always in the spotlight guy. Whether you want to believe it or not, he has. Everything this guy does gets talked about. We're talking about Tarek Skubal today when he didn't even play in this game, and everyone else is talking about him. Like, that's what he's become in sports.
I'm sick of it. I've genuinely had enough. Terry says he didn't quit. He knows what he can do and what he can't do this early in the season. He has a family to take care of, and in his last season before a new contract, I don't blame him for sitting out. All right. What's the point of playing anything then?
He pitched in spring training.
Guys,
that's just what I don't get.
What's the point of playing anything then? You got a family to take care of. He could get hurt the next time he pitches a regular season game. Why wouldn't he just sit out the entire regular season? I don't understand. Someone help me understand.
Yeah, at some point it has to be limited. At some point there's a cap to the whole, well, I don't blame him because he could have got hurt.
Zach just says, who cares? I'd rather him be healthy for the Tigers season anyway. That's where we end this conversation because I can't get to you guys. I can't get to that person.
The YouTube chat is all in agreement with you, by the way, so at least you got those people riding with you.
Thank God. I just, if you're willing to text in and tell me why you don't care about this thing, please do. But I think it's a lost opportunity for an incredible, incredible tournament. I had someone text me last night, this is a fake gold medal. It's not like the Olympic gold medals. Is baseball any less of a sport than luge?
I mean, they don't even play baseball, and like, there's not real baseball in the Olympics, anyways. So
That's what I'm saying. Like,
this is the Olympics version of baseball.
So why are we just dismissing it? That's what I don't understand. Why are we not embracing this tournament as the coolest thing that baseball has to offer? The same way that we do with hockey and basketball every 4 years. Is it just because it's at the beginning of a baseball season? Do we need to pivot when this tournament's being played?
I disagree. I think it is being treated that way by everyone except the United States. It's clearly
and that's why they lost.
It's clearly being treated that way by every other country.
And that's why the United States keeps losing. And they're not going to win until they shake that. And I hope they basically scrub this roster and find a ton of people who actually want to compete to win this thing. And that's their number one priority. Because they were supposed to do that this year. That's why they assembled such a good team. But then they also assembled players who were more concerned about themselves and their contract than winning this thing for their country. And if that's the case, get off the team. Looking at you, Skubal. 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mint. Show, as always, brought to you by Bresky Siding and Building Repair, the experts who do the job right the first time. Whether you have a leaky roof, storm damage, siding looking a little tired, Bresky has you covered. Locally owned, trusted, and dedicated to keeping Midland area homes safe and looking sharp. Quality materials, skilled craftsmanship, and service that puts your family first. Don't wait for the next storm. Call Bresky Siding and Building Repair today. Keep your home strong for years to come.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, welcome back in. I think I'm okay with the Tarek Skubal thing. I think I'm ready to move on. We'll circle back to it a little bit later on in the show. Let's hit the mid-morning catch.
The Mitts Morning Catch.
Happy that you're all good, though.
I appreciate that. Thanks. We got March Madness tomorrow. That's keeping me through this.
Man, the espresso really hitting hard this morning, you know?
It really
We're
did.
getting after it, man.
The new espresso machine is a blessing.
We do have a lot of YouTube chats about it, so at some point we'll have to circle back and go over those as well.
Good.
But for now, let's go over the mid-morning catch. As Ben said, let's take a look at the community calendar. As always, presented by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Starting tomorrow through Saturday, the Midland Small Business Spring Shop Hop is going on. So there's 13 local small businesses participating. You can get a bingo card, go around and do some shopping over the weekend. Hopefully the weather warms up for that too, because man, it's going to be it's not going to be warm out for March Madness. At least we're going to be inside though, so I'm not too upset about it, but I'm not excited for this weather that we have coming up.
Is it's supposed to get real cold again?
I mean, it just is real cold right now, and it's I don't think it's warming up anytime.
I mean, we don't have to do a weather update.
Yeah. Just saying.
Yeah, this sucks. This
yes,
really sucks.
It does. What also sucks. Sorry, did you have something to say?
No, I don't.
Okay. What also sucks is that last night in the Pistons game, yes, they won against the Wizards, but Cade Cunningham leaves the game with back spasms. Jalen Duren goes off with 36 and 12. But, yeah, Cade just played 5 minutes in this game. He had to dive onto the floor going after a loose ball because, you know, he's a star player that doesn't mind getting a little bit dirty.
Unlike Tarek Skubal.
Right, unlike Tarek Skubal. That was my take about Skubal last week, by the way, is that the Pistons superstar, usually the NBA superstars are always the diva drama guys, but the Pistons don't have one of those, so it got morphed into their MLB superstar. Anyways.
That makes sense.
Cade leaves the game with back spasms. Not good, obviously. This is probably something that's going to hold him out.
Well, Kyle, what's the point of him playing in the regular season? These games don't matter. Why would he even do that? Yeah, he could get hurt. Why would he put himself in harm's way? I don't get it. Let's just have this mentality for every sport. Let's just do it for every single sport.
I thought you said you were okay. I thought you said you were moved off of this.
Well, clearly I'm not. Let's just do it for every sport then. Why even play Cade? He should just sit the rest of the season. Oh, but then the same people are all out here mad that the NBA players don't care. No, it's the baseball players that don't care. It's one baseball player that doesn't care.
Yeah, so back to the Pistons. Cade is going to be probably out for at least a week or so. Most of these back spasm injuries are like a 1 to 2 week thing. Nothing, of course, is confirmed right now, but Cade has played in 61 games right now with the Pistons play 14 left. You got to play 65 to be qualified for All-NBA selection. So, of course, we really hope that Cade can get those 4 games added in because he's probably going to be a part of the All-NBA first team this season. So, hopefully the Pistons can continue to win without him. They don't have a crazy tough schedule or anything coming up, so it's not that bad. Get ready to learn Danis Jenkins, Marcus Sasser backcourt because that's what we're going to get a lot of.
Oh, God.
Jenkins had a good game last night.
Thank God we have March Madness to distract us from this. This is usually like the lone 2 or 3 week stretch where it's just like, I guess it's really only like a 4-day stretch, but like timeout, not watching any NBA. It's really the only time in the season where I
know, and I am doing that right now, and all the NBA podcasts that I consume, just haven't been listening to them this week. I mean, like, why? I don't care this week. Like, you're right. This is the week where I just don't care, and now I'm going to be behind, and it sucks, but whatever. It's March Madness time. That's all that matters. Speaking of March Madness, we had 2 games last night in the first 4. Howard holds off UMBC to get their first NCAA tournament win in program history. They will be taking on Michigan as that 16 seed. I told you the line for that game this morning, Ben. 30.5 Michigan favorites over 16-seeded Howard. But at least they got a win, so shout out to them for pulling that off last night. Came down to the final shot as well. And then in the other game, Texas-NC State, that came down to the final shot, and it was a game winner. Texas hits the game winner to advance to face BYU in the round of 64.
Did you have the audio on in this game?
I did. I was flipping back, and so I had the dual box going with Team Venezuela or the U.S. Venezuela, and then that game, and then I started just going back and forth as far as what audio I was listening to. I think I have a different opinion than everyone else on this.
I can't do it.
But I'd love to hear your opinion.
I just can't. It's fun for 5 minutes. I can't do a full game of Dick Vitale and Charles Barkley anymore. I can't do it.
See, my whole thing is like that was the point of this. There's a reason they put this in the first four. Like it was to throw Dick Vitale a bone. Like here, you can get another game. He's on TNT. Like what? Dick Vitale on TNT? That's never been done before. And Brian Anderson made a joke about that, about the transfer portal of broadcasters because of that. Chuck is on a game. I thought it was funny. Like I understand it wasn't. They weren't diving into basketball and talking about the game that much. It also wasn't the Final Four. Like, it's a first four game, you know? Like, I think it's fine. We're not going to see any more of it.
It's the same reason I don't like Bill Walton on the calls. It's just, I didn't used to like Bill Walton on the calls. Yeah, it just, it's not for me.
It's goofy. Yeah, it's definitely goofy. And Brian Anderson, by the way, clearly was, like, sick. His voice was just so messed up in this game, so it was all around just kind of a mess. But, yeah, anyways, Texas wins, though. NC State with Trey Holloman season gets ended a bit short, so tough for them. Let's do this last thing in the news, and then we'll hold off the rest for later because I know you wanted to talk about this, and it's pretty interesting. Texas Tech, their weight room, at their football weight room facility, they have banned any weights that are under 40 pounds.
This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. It truly is. You expect the wide receivers to be doing shoulder lat raises?
Yeah, what about lateral raises, man? You cannot do. You're not telling me everyone's consistently repping 40s.
Maybe the defensive linemen. Maybe the offensive line. Not
what about the wide
receivers?
Yeah.
Not the quarterback.
They're not doing 40-pound lat raises. There's no way.
Yeah, I think this is. Tell a guy who's trying to rehab from a bicep tear, you got to start out with the 40s. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I'm trying to think of any other exercises where it would just be like you just can't do them anymore because of the weight restriction or
like
whatever.
Anything wrist-wise, if you're trying to do wrist
you can't
exercises.
forearm exercises. Yeah, it's a good point.
Any
like
rehab.
Any unilateral like type of exercises too. Like you can't do those anymore.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. It really is.
Just one of the weirdest things ever. We'll actually end the news with this because this was some bigger news yesterday. I know you're going to dive into this more in the 10 o'clock hour. Lions have signed edge rusher / linebacker DJ Wonnum to a 1-year contract. Wonnum? I don't know. They finally signed somebody though. Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if this is more so a hand in the dirt defensive lineman or a Sam outside linebacker because he's been listed at both in his career. I've seen some mixed things about that. Consistent, but they brought in somebody. I think they still need to bring in another player.
Totally.
They can still go sign Cam Jordan tomorrow. And I don't think this signing should all of a sudden make them feel content at that position.
1 year, $6 million, I believe, for DJ. So
$6 million max.
Not too bad. Yeah.
He's got to earn some of it. All right. 989-837-6125. We'll be right back. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9. The minute before we go, got to tell you about Thomas Trading Post. They work as hard as you do. You got to check them out. They've been proudly serving the Tri-County area for over 40 years, and when it comes to trusted brands and dependable gear, they know their stuff. In fact, they're the largest retailer of Carhartt in the area, which means they have a giant selection of all the stuff that you want, quality materials that you expect, all in one place. Thomas Trading Post, built for work, built to last.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair.
The Mint.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
Nine 837-6125. Rob from Saginaw texting in says, let's talk about some March Madness. I agree. What is the perfect number of brackets to make? Because I'll pose that question to everyone, and I'd like to answer my own question. I used to always be like the ESPN tournament app, what lets you make like 25 of them. I used to sit in class in college and high school and just not pay attention to a word the professor or teacher was talking about. And I would just fill out a million different brackets. I'm out on that.
You were still going during this week? It's crazy.
What do you mean?
You were still going to class?
Oh, for now, yeah, until Thursday rolled around. But I would just fill these out all day until I got to my maximum amount. Now, I'm grown up. And I realize that when you're an adult, the right thing to do is make one bracket and stand on your own business. That way you don't have, like, here's the thing. If you tell me, oh, I've got a bracket in the 99th percentile. Wait, you've got a bracket? What do you mean you have a bracket? Well, I made like 24 of them. Oh, then I don't care, man. I don't care that you have one bracket in the 99th percentile if you made 24 of them. That means every game you're either rooting for or against something. Just make one bracket. Make it easier on yourself. And then find out if you actually know ball or not. Because if you make 25, yeah, some of them are bound to be good. Some of them are bound to be bad. If you just make one, you get to actually find out if you knew ball this year.
I will just not allow you to come on here and say that it is childish to fill out 25 brackets.
It is.
That is an absurd thing to say. The whole point of March Madness is to like embrace the madness. It is sickening to fill out 25 brackets. It is pure sicko behavior. And that's what March Madness represents. Like, I get the point that you're making about the whole, like, I'm not going to flex on somebody and be like, yeah, this bracket that I don't even have in any group because it was my 21st bracket that I filled out is doing awesome. Like, I agree with you from that perspective. But,
See,
like,
the problem
there's nothing wrong with filling out 25 brackets.
Yeah, but the problem,
There's
though, with
nothing
that
wrong
is
with
if
it.
your 21st bracket's great, how many of those did you actually submit that to a group?
No, that's what I'm saying. The only ones you can flex on are the ones that are in groups.
See, but then if you make multiple, are you submitting the same, like you have your main bracket that you're submitting to all these different groups, or are you doing, I'll send this bracket to this group, this bracket to this group, then all of a sudden you're just caught rooting for different things.
Right.
And that's what it's simpler. Once you do the one bracket once, you realize your life just becomes a lot simpler during the tournament. You have one thing to root for. You know what your bracket says.
I disagree. Your life becomes actually the opposite of more simple. It becomes insanely stressful. That's what I will say.
That sounds amazing.
So I've always been the 25 bracket guy. Maybe like when I was a kid, I would only fill out one or two. But the second I was like able to get the ESPN app or whatever and do it that way, I have always been the 25 brackets guy because it's a big deal. Like I want to get every possible outcome. Oh, do I want one with Akron in the Elite Eight? Okay, I got to make a bracket that centers around that. Like there's always a theme of each bracket that you fill out. I got to have one where Louisville goes to the Final Four, like something like that. And this year, I have taken your advice, and I'm doing the one bracket approach. And I'm only doing one bracket. I filled one out like right when the bracket came out, just for fun. But like it was just to do it, just because I was like fiending for it. It is easily the most impactful decision I've ever made in my life. It has the stress that it has put on me. I have switched things in this one bracket that I've made no less than 40 times. I'm sitting at the gym.
To me.
I'm sitting at the gym last night between every set, looking at the bracket and being like, man, I really want to pick Akron, but I don't know, Texas Tech. And I've switched that specific game 10 times.
See, that specific feeling and having all those thoughts pour into one bracket, I think is better than just like, I'll just make another one and put no thought into it and just fill it out because I didn't do it like this yet before. That's like kind of a cop-out to me. Just make your one bracket, put in those type of decisions, think about it all week, and then you have your final bracket.
I'm doing that this year. I'm committing to it. But I think to say it's childish to fill out 25 is just, it's the opposite of childish. You know the most amount of time and effort it takes to fill out 25 different brackets? That is a lot of brackets.
A lot.
It really takes a toll on you to do it. And I was always that guy. But I'm not this year.
I think it takes too much of a toll. I think if you're going to spend 3 hours throughout the week making brackets, just spend 3 hours making sure that you have the right decisions in the lone bracket. I'm all in on the one bracket. I think it's life-changing once you do it.
LeDuc with a great take here. I actually really respect this. He says, one sheet of integrity, Ben, but we'll adjust our betting along the way. So the bets are fluid, but you just have the one sheet.
There it is. That's how you can change how you feel about it.
That's a great take, LeDuc.
And
I like that.
I am a fan of printing off the bracket afterwards to have a physical copy. I don't know. For some reason, I like having the sheet of paper and there it is. And being able to kind of track it as you go. Now, filling one out on paper, I'm out on. I can't do that.
You're out on that? What do you mean you're out on that?
It takes too much time and
my
hand will hurt.
On filling, my hand will hurt.
Yes, my hand will hurt
to write?
We live in 2026,
You're
brother.
writing,
We have apps.
You're not even writing that much. You're writing a name of a team.
Yeah, but I'm bound to mess something up, and then I'll have to cross it out with a pen, and I'll change my mind.
You're out on writing things down.
No, I write a lot of things down. I like filling out the correct bracket on paper. That's what I like doing.
All right.
989-837-6125.
Just the wildest take I've ever heard.
I'm full of them. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mid. Don't go anywhere. 10 o'clock hour on the way. We're going to talk to Al Karsten a little bit later on in the show as well. It's all coming up here on the show.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
Pinconning, Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
All right, we have our Big Win Wednesday coming up. We're giving away 4 Loons tickets. Season starts 2 weeks from Friday. We're excited about that. Until then, let's save that for about 15 minutes. Until then, I want to jump into something different. It's called Contract Mulligan for Brad Holmes. So yesterday, the Lions signed an edge rusher. Woonham? He's been somewhere between 3 and 8 sacks every year of his entire career. So it's consistent, but it's a $6 million deal at most. That's the most he can earn. There's a reason they're not going out and splashing right now. It's because they don't really have a ton of money. So I'm looking at all the contracts that Brad Holmes has handed out, and I'm asking myself and I'm asking the people, if you could have a contract mulligan, you get to just take away one contract, redo it. It doesn't necessarily mean you just don't have the player. In some cases it does, like a free agent pickup. But if you're talking extension, if you could just have a contract mulligan, would you do it, and who would you do it with? Your options include Kirby Joseph, who the salary cap on his contract's not actually too bad on a year-to-year basis, $5 million, $9 million, $13 million, $17 million in 2029. The issue is he's still being paid through 2033. He's on the books in 2033, even if he's not on the team. That's frightening. That's option 1. Option 2 is Lee McNeil, who's set to make $28, $27, and $29 million the next 3 years, which is amongst the highest on the team. I'll throw Jared Goff in here. 37, 62, and $69 million the next 3 years. Derek Barnes, $9 million this year, $9 million next year. They don't replace Alex Anzalone because they kind of just have to go with Derek Barnes because of the contract. $9 million is nothing crazy, but it's also that person kind of just has to play. I'll throw DJ Reed on here. $17 million this year, $8 million next year. $17 million, kind of a big hit. And then I'll throw the Taylor Decker contract extension onto here too, even though he's not on the team. He's still a $9.5 million cap hit for the Lions this season. So I gave you a contract mulligan. If we got Brad Holmes a couple drinks at a bar and we offered him a contract mulligan, where is he going and saying, yeah, I'd probably redo that one if I could?
Now, when we say redo this, it means that like they're still on the team, right?
Not in the case of DJ Reed. He just wouldn't have been signed by the Lions. In the case of Lee McNeil, you'd have to pick up his 5th-year option going into this. Or no, he wouldn't have a 5th-year option. So that would be a TBD if he's still on the team. If you can sign him cheaper after the injury, I'd imagine you could.
Right. Like if it was just to redo it, do-over, the answer you would like to be Jared Goff, because, of course, if Jared Goff was making a lot less money, even pre-restructure, like it would make things a lot easier to do everything else if you're Detroit. The issue is, like, if you were redoing Jared Goff's contract, he'd probably be making more than he is right now.
Yeah, I think if you were to not do the initial contract extension, he's either making more or he's not on the team.
Right, exactly. So, like, that's just an insanely impactful thing. So it has to go to a guy that obviously has underplayed his deal. I don't want to say Kirby Joseph is the answer because we just don't know yet. What we do know is that Ali McNeil has clearly underplayed his contract that he's gotten. Mm-hmm. Barnes is up in the air because he might just be in a bigger role this season. So, like, we'll see. Maybe he can kind of make that contract worth it. And then the Decker one. The Decker one is the one where I'm like, man, if that just wouldn't have happened, things might have been way easier. Things might have been working out a lot better just going into this offseason, knowing that large number wasn't even going to be a debate on, is he going to retire? Is he not? Are we going to cut him? Are we not? You wouldn't have had to deal with any of that. Mm-hmm. So I might just rock with the Decker one. The Goff one is the most ideal. Like if this could be a free contract, or like we can one mulligan to make it way easier. I have a guaranteed my next shot is going to be a great shot.
No, I think with the Goff, it's either he's making more or he's not on the team.
Exactly.
Mulligan with Goff basically means you're up in the air on who your quarterback is, which I'm not willing to do that, which is why my answer is Lee McNeil. I think if you just wouldn't have given him the contract, he just finished up his 4th season off of an injury. Guess what? you would have signed him for cheap because he didn't play very well last year at all. And now you're stuck giving him kind of an insane amount of money, $28, $27, and $29 million. I mean, he is the third highest cap hit on the team this year, Kyle. I don't know if he's a top 10 player on this team, yet he's being paid as if he's a superstar, the same as like Amon-Ra and Penei Sewell. That's the kind of money he's getting paid. So if there's a redo, like if the Lions would have held out and not given him a contract extension until this year, just let him play on an expiring, do we think he costs more than $12 million a season? Coming off of an injury 2 years ago and just kind of a poor season last year when he returned?
Probably not.
Does it cost? It doesn't. I don't think it costs more than 15.
Right.
$28 million. We're talking about like half the difference.
Yeah, that's insane.
Half the price. We just chop that in half, and the Lions actually have a decent amount of money to spend in free agency to go splash on an edge rusher, to go splash on, I mean, fill in the blank, whoever you want, really. I think it's the McNeil contract, and I'm not sure it's actually close.
Well, even with like the other guys that have in that similar spot performed well or outperformed or performed at the same level as Aleem McNeil, like you spent a first-round pick on Tyreek Williams. Roy Lopez came in last year and was like a phenomenal player on at least for the deal that he was on for Detroit.
Yeah.
Like I think it really changes things. Like is Aleem McNeil, like is there a word where he would have been traded or cut or something if the cap hit wasn't as bad? Not saying he's that bad, but like
no, he's still a good player.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
At his best, he's
just overpaid. He's just clearly overpaid.
Yeah, because at his best, he's been a borderline Pro Bowler. He's never once showed a flash of an all-pro, all-world type of player. I think they just kind of his progression was linear his first 3 years, and they were like, well, this is just going to keep going up forever, and eventually he'll turn into that.
Right. But even when he got the contract, that was the one where it was like, whoa, Aleem McNeil got paid this? Like that kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and you start to convince yourself like, oh, he's having a career
I could get
year.
behind
like,
it. Yeah.
Yeah, he can continue to get better. The problem is development's not always linear, and this injury clearly derailed his career a little bit, and that kind of stuff just happens. And when you pay everyone the price that you do, more than they're actually worth, this stuff's bound to bite you back at some point. And now the Lions are seeing it happen, both with the McNeil contract. I think if he could redo the Barnes one, he might be redoing that as well, because I don't think he's a $9 million per year type of player either. There's been some big-time mistakes with Holmes. And with how many guys have gotten paid prematurely, you do start to wonder, of all the guys that are up for extensions right now, do you really want to pay all of them? And I'm looking at Gibbs as the guy. It's like, okay, you still have his fourth season. You can pick up his fifth-year option, and then you can franchise tag him. That's already 3 years from now. You got 3 more years of Gibbs without having to pay him. I'm not in a rush to give Jahmyr Gibbs a 4-year contract extension or anything like that, because I don't want to run into a situation like this. And I don't think Jahmyr Gibbs is all of a sudden like going to fall off, but hey man, I'd rather commit to someone for 3 years than 6 years in general when it comes to this stuff with a sport this violent. No one would have predicted an injury for Aleem McNeil, but that kind of stuff just happens, and it derails the progress that they've made. So I would be hesitant to hand out all these contract extensions to Gibbs and Campbell and Branch and Laporta this offseason. One of these guys is getting paid, I'd imagine, and I would think
probably
it's Jack
multiple,
Campbell.
Right? I would think 2 of them does.
I would think it's Jack Campbell, and the rest I'd probably TBD on.
Yeah, I mean, Campbell seems like a lock based off of the year that he had. Interesting YouTube chat here from Nick. He says, Mulligan Goff contract, trade him for a first overall pick. I'm assuming he just means first round pick, and draft a new QB. I mean, obviously Goff would be much easier to trade.
I would want more than a first.
Well, yeah, but I think like that's just kind of the main pull. You're getting like a first to draft your QB, probably is what he's saying.
I think Goff kind of worth 2 firsts at this point.
I mean, when's the last? We haven't seen a big quarterback trade. That's the issue.
It was Stafford.
It's been
and
so
it was
long.
2 firsts.
Yeah, it's been so long since we've seen one.
And I feel like Goff is playing as well, if not better, than Stafford was when he was traded.
That seems fair. I can get behind that.
But you also got Goff in, so it was honestly like more than 2 firsts, and we got all the day 2
but Goff
picks
was
as well.
for sure a negative asset when he was in that deal, though.
Sure, but we also got this. What was it? A second and a third in there as well, or something like that.
The third that you got Ife Melifonwu with, yeah.
I would think we're talking. March 18th when we're talking about trading Goff.
Well, I'm just saying this is the mulligan because I think it's much easier to trade him if he's on like a different type of contract with the mulligan deal.
Yeah.
And everyone loves to have these quarterbacks on rookie deals. So
the problem is there's just no one to draft right now, and the Lions haven't finished high enough to take a draftable quarterback for 3 years. So it's nice in theory, but you're also losing out on 2 first-round picks. I guess maybe they did that with Terrion Arnold anyway.
What, are you not in on Ty Simpson?
No, that's the thing. It's just like these quarterbacks don't really fall outside of the top 10 that much anymore. So it's just a tough situation to find yourselves in. There's been a lot of Brad Holmes mistakes. What's the biggest one? We can jump into it when we come back. Like I said, you're listening to the Ben Bosscher Show live on 100.9 The Mitt. And when we come back, we'll do our Big Win Wednesday giveaway. Loons tickets coming up in just a minute. Big Win Wednesday. Thanks to our friends over at Garber Chevrolet. If you're looking for a new car, I can tell you from firsthand experience, Garber Chevrolet in Midland, they make it easy. Bought my first car there a couple of summers ago. Whole process was smooth. Never felt like I was being taken advantage of. Just constantly in the loop, giving me updates, what I need, what am I looking for. It's like I had a personal shopper over there. Fantastic experience. No stress, just straightforward. Whether it's a new whip, quality used vehicle, the team knows their stuff and gets you the right price. Garber Chevrolet, a place you can actually trust to get your next ride. They bring us Big Win Wednesday coming up next.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
So is the worst Brad Holmes move actually just one of these contracts, or is it a draft pick, or is it something else? We'll get into that in just a second. Before we do, let's give away the key word. Today is Loons. Text in Loons to 989-837-6125 for a chance to win 4 tickets to a Loons game coming up soon. Season starts in 2 weeks from Friday. So, again, just text in Loons to 989-837-6125, and you get a chance to win 4 tickets. All right, with that being said, Brad Holmes, what's his worst move ever? And you know what? I'm not going to say it's drafting Giovanni Manu. I'm not going to do it.
I thought this whole segment was built just for you to do that.
It's one of his worst moves. I
It
won't
would have
say
been so
it is
funny
his
if you
worst.
just came on here and just did that for 10 minutes and then moved on.
It would have been. I'll never understand trading into the 4th round and using a third-round
here it
pick to
is.
do it. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why you'd ever trade a better pick to jump into a later round to take a guy that nobody's ever heard of. So, little strange there. But I don't know if it's his worst move ever. I honestly think the Lee McNeil contract has a chance to be. With the cap hit that he has the next 2 years, I mean, it is very much preventing the Lions from being able to splurge in free agency in a lot of different ways. And if he doesn't turn into a Pro Bowl player, it's just simply not worth it.
Yeah.
It's a straight up bad contract if he's not a Pro Bowler, and that seems like a pretty tall task to ask for.
It is, but also, like, I think it's one that we don't know yet. Like you said, it has the potential to be, but it's true in the fact that it's impacting this offseason more than it's impacting, like, their play on the field. Just because, like, it's not like Lee McNeil's a disaster. It's not like it's the worst contract given out, just like it's a terrible player making a crazy amount of money.
No, but we just said it should be half of
right,
that.
like this offseason has just been totally impacted by that deal. So I don't mind it. I think it has a chance to be. Currently, though, I don't know if it is.
So what do you think his worst move is? I'll give you the Terrion Arnold draft pick. You know what? I'll actually just give you the combo of Terrion Arnold, Dennis Rakestraw. Because those guys...
Oh, wait, I get the combo?
Yeah,
Then it's
you can have the combo.
I get the two for 6 deal? Like, yeah, I'll take that.
As his worst move ever, those 2 draft picks in 24, the
now,
first 2 picks.
It might be just because he had been so consistently awesome in the first round.
Sure.
Like, just every first-round pick is a great pick. So the fact that, like, the year that it was a position that the Lions have struggled at under Brad Holmes' entire tenure with Detroit and Dan Campbell at cornerback, and they go both of them, and I don't want to say that both of them are busts. I think it's fair to say Ennis Rakestraw is. Arnold just is, I don't know. Because when he plays, I still don't know, and I don't even know if he's going to play now. Like, what's going on out the field? So maybe that means he is. Probably not, though. It seems a little unfair to throw that tag on him right now.
Bust? No, I don't think so.
Could be.
Could be very much
certainly
so.
not a boom, that's for sure. So that if I'm getting both of those options, can I just say the 2024 draft as a whole?
Yeah, because there were some ugly picks in there beyond. I mean, that's the Giovanni Manu.
That draft stinks.
That's Sione Vaki.
Vaki.
Yeah, there's some.
Christian
yeah.
Mahogany's the lone guy where you're like, not a bad pick for the 6th round.
But look what
Like-
they're bringing in competition for him because
Yeah.
they don't feel comfortable with him as the starter.
Yeah, if I get the 2024 draft, that's exactly what Ryan is saying in the YouTube chat right now. What about the 24 draft when you missed on every pick?
Yeah, the thing about, like, even a GM who has 3 great draft classes in a row, you miss on one entirely, and you feel it. Because when you did added 0 players via that draft with how many picks they had, you're feeling it now 2 years later because you don't really have anybody in that draft class contributing. That's how teams fall apart and don't continue on, like dynasty, the sustained success, not dynasty. That's how teams fail to have sustained success, missing a whole entire draft class. You don't survive that typically. And that's why the Lions had such a setback last year and why they're so constricted in what they can do this year.
I agree.
So we've got the 24 draft class. I'm throwing in Lee McNeil's contract. I'll throw in Taylor Decker's contract too.
Right. There's a sneaky one in the YouTube chat I don't agree with, but you want to hear it?
Jared Goff extension.
No, maybe even worse. Noah says signing J-Mo to his extension.
Okay. I didn't include J-Mo.
He gives a little bit of an explanation.
Yeah, let's hear that first.
He says, I've been saying it since last season. There was no point in signing J-Mo if you can't protect Goff long enough to hit him deep. And then I'm also going to assume that maybe a little bit of Isaac Tesla being drafted probably comes into play a little bit here.
Not having the 2/3 that you traded up to go get him. Yeah. I don't think I'm there yet with the J-Mo contract because he's got something you just can't really find.
He's earned, he's definitely not overpaid.
I don't think he's overpaid.
No, not at all.
You're right in terms of there's no point if you can't protect Goff. But again, it's not like you can just say, well, just go sign an awesome tackle or go sign an awesome. Well, I guess the center is kind of different with what happened this offseason, but it's hard to just go ask guys. It's hard to go find offensive linemen unless you draft them, you know? So I don't know if they could actually utilize that money that they're paying J-Mo with a better contract on the offensive line. That seems a little far-fetched. And I also think J-Mo just has something that you can't really teach at all. You can't really find in free agency with the speed that he has. I think he earned his contract last offseason. I was skeptical of it too. When it happened, it was really confusing. It felt like he hadn't earned it yet. I think he earned it last offseason. The drops were way down. The big-time plays were up. You could actually count on him. Remember the second half of the year? Every Friday we were just smashing his over in receptions and yards because he was just getting a ton of targets and catching it every time. I think the J-Mo contract is fine.
I think it is too. I'm pivoting back to this 2024 class because Ryan just reminded me. He said, look at all the corners that were taken in the first 2 rounds.
Oh, no.
And the Lions ended up with Arnold and Rakestraw.
You're going to really bum me out here.
Quinyon Mitchell, Nate Wiggins were the first-round guys outside of Terry and Arnold. Both of those guys have been pretty good players.
But they went above Arnold.
Wiggins went after.
Wiggins did go after.
Cooper DeJean in the early second round. Kool-Aid McKinstry, Kamari Lassiter. All 3 of those guys have been definitely contributors, some more than others. It's just it's tough, man.
Yeah, how many of those guys got taken above Ennis?
All 3 of those second-round guys got taken above him. But
you
still,
could have
it's
taken
just,
them earlier.
Yeah, you could have taken him in the first. You could have traded, just if you're going to take 2 corners, the fact that, you might have gotten the 2 worst ones that were taken in the first 60 picks, it kind of hurts.
Yeah, I'm actually going to pivot my answer from Ali McNeil's contract to the 2024 draft class because it's pretty bad. At least with 25, it's not like splashy players.
You have your right guard for the future. That's pretty important.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens with Tyleik Williams this year too.
Yeah.
But Tate Rallage rocks.
Totally.
He had the second highest offensive PFF grade of any rookie interior offensive lineman last year. He was good. Really good. But the 2000, even at Terry and Arnold's best, it's yeah, but there's this situation going on where he holds every play.
And exactly. He has the most PI calls in the league.
Yeah. We'll see what ends up happening with that. But yeah, there's been a handsome amount of Brad Holmes decisions that are hurting the Lions right now. And, it should be time to celebrate because they got Wanham,
I think.
Wanham, who's been a consistent player for Carolina the last couple of years on the edge. But it's not all of a sudden I'm oh, they got their edge. Everything's better. They got an edge. I don't really think he should be the starter across from Hutchinson, though, if we're being real with ourselves.
Need another guy for sure.
Need another guy, and I'd rather it be in free agency than the draft so they can focus on other things in the draft. 989-837-6125. Like I said, Big Win Wednesday is thanks to our friends over at Garber Chevrolet. Check engine light on my car popped on a couple weeks ago, Kyle. I was like, oh, no. I'm not a mechanic. I don't know how to fix this. So I hopped online, scheduled an appointment at Garber Chevrolet in their maintenance shop. They've got one of those. Car was in the next day. And then 2 hours later, they're like, everything's good. We got it all taken care of. Didn't try to upsell me. Didn't try to make me buy all this stuff I've never heard of. Boom, just like that. In and out. 48 hours. Brand new car. Driving as good as new.
Wow, for free. Brand new car.
Kind of. They make Big Win Wednesday every day. Big Win Wednesday possible every week. So we're going to pick a winner here during this commercial break. So you've got about another 30 seconds to text in Loons to 989-837-6125 for a chance to win 4 Loons tickets. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mint.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, congratulations to Alec. You are our winner for Big Win Wednesday. You're going to a Loons game this summer, 4 tickets, game of your choice. Awesome stuff there. Again, thanks to our friends over at Garber Chevrolet. All right, with that being said, we've got a couple more things to take care of. We're going to take a trip around the league, do some free agency grades, and then coming up at 11:15, we're going to talk to our guy, Al Karsten, from prideofdetroit.com to go over free agency, the signing that the Lions have just had, biggest winners and losers so far, and maybe we'll ask him about the contracts mulligan as well. All right, let's take a trip around the league.
It's time to zoom out and go around the league.
Free agency grades for notable NFL teams, trades, moves. It's not even just free agency, I guess. It's off-season grades for individual moves. You ready?
Let's do it.
Jalen Waddle to the Broncos, the latest big-time move that we've seen across the league. I said yesterday I liked this for both teams. ESPN agrees. They gave the Dolphins a B+ for what they got in return, and they gave the Broncos a B-. Maybe gave up a little bit too much. I don't know why they had to include the third rounder, to be quite honest.
A first for Waddle already just seems like, whoa, like a first for Jalen Waddle, like that's a big deal.
I might give it an A- for the Dolphins.
It's definitely a bigger win for the Dolphins, but it's not like an L for Denver. Like they kind of needed to add a little bit more flair to this offense. I understand Bo Nix is not this guy that's going to wheel and deal the ball down the field.
Now, Waddle, just don't want him throwing the ball a lot.
Sure, but it kind of fits Denver's scheme of like we only pass the ball in 5 to 10 yard increments every time,
or deep shots.
And Waddle really likes to catch the ball like early on. He gets a lot of jet sweeps. He catches the ball inside of 10 yards a ton for Miami. It made sense with Tua as well because Tua never threw it down the field. So I think it fits their scheme. But of course, like this is a major W for the Dolphins, getting a first-round pick for a guy that probably had just worked out his time in Miami, with them rebuilding.
Well, it's not like if Denver would have just kept their pick, they're probably taking a first-rounder anyway, or a receiver, right?
Yeah, so you might as well go get a guy that is a pretty good one right now in the prime of his career.
Yeah, the downside of that is now you don't have a third.
He's being paid, of course.
He's getting paid, and he's a little bit older than a rookie. But, again, rookies aren't a guaranteed hit. You may as well get someone who's a little bit more developed and has, like, some real expectation coming in.
And, like, all these guys that they had been, like, it's not like they've been great drafting these wide receivers over the last couple years. Troy Franklin, Pat Bryant, Marvin Mims. Like, none of these guys are, like, elite
even
players.
Sutton you can go back to. It's like, that's
Sutton's,
your best guy.
Sutton's a good receiver. Absolutely.
Yeah, but he can't be your wide receiver 1 on a Super Bowl team.
For sure.
It just can't happen.
Elite wide receiver 2, probably, yeah.
But I wouldn't say Waddle's an elite wide receiver 1. Now it feels like they have two. I always thought as Waddle is like either a 1B or a 2. Probably a high-end 2 or a low-end.
I think he can be a 1. I mean, like in Miami,
think he's a low-end 1, though.
Sure. I think I could get behind that.
So they've got 2 low-end 1s, which maybe together can give you a pretty good receiver room. I think that's fine. But, like, we're not putting that duo ahead of. Well, we can probably still name 5 other wide receiver duos that we like more than that. I like Amon-Ra, J-Mo more.
Of course.
I like the L.A. guys more. Even with Devontae's being old. I like the Bengals guys more.
Even Eagles currently with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith.
Yeah, I probably like those
Cowboys guys,
more,
of course. Lamb and Pickens might be the best in the league. Like,
is there any Mike Evans and no, probably not.
Christian Kirk is now there. No, I mean Evans and who? Like,
I guess
Jawan
right.
Jennings,
Brandon Ayuk.
That guy's not going to be playing football anytime soon.
No, probably not. I like this for both teams.
Jefferson and whoever,
Jefferson and Addison?
Yeah. I would take that as well.
I probably would as well. I'm trying to think if there's any more. No, probably not. All right, next one. Chiefs. They land Justin Fields, which kind of makes me believe that Mahomes maybe not going to be healthy for week 1. I'm always just under the impression that I was always under the impression that he can just bounce back from this ACL injury faster than anybody has before. He's Superman. He plays through everything. Remember, he had the high ankle sprain, and he played one of his best playoff games on that. It was incredible. I just thought he'd regenerate faster than everybody else. This trade makes me rethink that. Yeah, I mean, the best athletes in the world typically do. It's weird. Like, LeBron always had that where he never could get hurt.
Right.
Mahomes always felt like that, too, like he was invincible. That's why it didn't feel real when we got the notification that he actually tore his ACL. Now I'm for the first time thinking maybe Mahomes won't be healthy week 1, so they trade for Justin Fields. Chiefs get a C+ grade for this one, even though they only gave up a 6th-round pick.
I mean, Fields is just like terrible.
Yeah.
Like that's why I kind of could see this. Like, if if your plan was to, okay, we're actually going to compete, because how long is Mahomes going to be out? To me, this signals that, like, Mahomes is going to be back. Like, they still have confidence going into the season. It's not like a full-on reset year.
No,
Last
I mean, he
year
tore
was
it
the
in
reset year.
December.
Right. So, what did they give the Jets? I mean,
They gave the Jets a B+ just to get off.
You got rid of Fields.
It's the contract they got rid of. He was supposed to make $20 million this year.
Right.
That's insane.
Like, you got rid of that. Yeah, you're replacing for him as Geno Smith, so it's not much better. But, like, I don't know. It's just weird to me that this is the Chiefs' option, that you couldn't go just sign somebody else instead of trading for a guy that's making that amount of money.
I mean, who were you supposed to sign? There wasn't any, like, all the backups. At least Fields is still probably better than all the backups that were available, like Teddy Bridgewater.
Kirk Cousins. You go get Kirk just to play for 4 or 5 games.
He is so...
Trade for Anthony Richardson.
Richardson would have been really fun, but
right?
I think Kirk Cousins is just so, like, they don't at all play the same.
It's going to be so funny when Fields in week 1 or 2, because this is classic Fields, always has a great game early in the year.
Yeah.
Has an awesome game, and then the people are like, should Mahomes just sit out the rest of the year? They start 2-0?
Nobody will say that.
You know who the guy that gets an F for this trade is, though?
Who?
Kenneth Walker. Finally got to be the workhorse running back in Kansas City. I get this all to myself. I can actually score touchdowns now. And then the most mobile quarterback in NFL history is just now your quarterback for the start of the season.
Yeah, I wonder if Andy Reid was just like, I'm bored. I want to try something different. Let's get a mobile quarterback in here that can't throw, and I'm going to prove that I can turn him into at least something productive.
Matt Nagy returned to Kansas City?
No, Eric Bieniemy.
So what happened to Matt Nagy?
I think he
got
gone?
Fired. Okay, because I was going to say maybe this was his decision. Of course, he was Fields' coach in Chicago for some years. Yeah, but I mean, he trusted Fields at least. So I didn't know if that was potentially a decision on his behalf, but I guess not. So
you know what actually would have been the better move? Like, again, I don't think Cousins would have really made a difference. They could have re-signed Minshew. I don't think it would have made a difference. Mariota's actually the guy who does have a little Mahomes to him. Like the D+ version of it. You know what I mean? Like, he's not super mobile, but like he catches you off guard and it's like, oh, actually he can run when he actually wants to. Throw on the run a little bit.
See, Mariota's one of those guys that like clearly still thinks he's 25 when you watch him play. Like, he'll take off and get out into space, and it's like, I'm going to get to this first down, and he just so clearly can't. He takes a huge
surprises
hit.
You.
Like, he takes a couple huge hits when he plays every game. You're right. I guess it does kind of surprise you a little bit. But.
Mahomes has the surprise athleticism too, but he never takes the hits ever.
Yeah, he's elite at not taking the hits, yeah.
Like, he actually might be the best of all time at avoiding the hit and stepping out of bounds the millisecond before
Whereas Josh Allen takes every hit and never gets hurt. It's really weird.
Well, there was the play, though, where Mahomes just lowered his shoulder. Like, remember how Mahomes, before he got hurt, had a ton of rushing touchdowns this year? There was a play on a primetime game where he just ran a dude over in the end zone and looked down at him and did the flex thing, and I was like, yes! That's my guy! That's him!
Okay, chill out.
Blazing, dude. Relax. Hey, man. That's my guy.
No, I know.
That's my guy. Vikings signed Kyler Murray. They get an A for this. 1 year, $1.3 million. It's less than JJ's making this year.
It's unreal. Their long snappers making more.
Yeah, that's a real statement. That's true. I look, man, I think this has to be an A. If he was making $10 million, it'd maybe be a B+. But this is just so cheap that I think if he's like average, it's an A grade because of the contract. It allows him to do anything.
Not only is it an A, but it's not one of those like 92.5% that rounds up to an A. It's a 100 out of 100. Like, it's absolutely an insanely good move from Minnesota. Whatever you think about Kyler Murray, you cannot disagree that he's better than what they had at quarterback. Mm-hmm. And on that contract, like, what do we talk about as the most valuable things in football? It's the quarterbacks on rookie deals that are just clearly willing to be paid much more. Kyler Murray's not some superstar player, but he went, like, the reason why people were out on him was because of the deal he was on.
Well,
he was just clearly overpaid. Now he's, like, so underpaid,
Let's also not forget all these quarterbacks that have been dumped off onto new teams have found their way into a good system, and look what's happened in their careers, i.e. Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield,
Daniel Jones,
like whoever else you want to throw into that mix.
Geno Smith, even like in Seattle the first time around.
Sure. Like, think about where Kyler Murray has played his entire career. Arizona. is a terrible organization for the last 10 years. Part of that is sure on Kyler Murray, but I'll tell you what, the Vikings, whether it's their coaching staff or anything else, it's just a better run organization.
Yeah. It's
you get a
absolutely
quarterback
100.
coach as well. Let's do one or two more. Chiefs re-signed Travis Kelce. They get a B for this. I told you. I thought Kansas City, it was time to move on. I thought it was done.
But he's not playing for another team. Like if he's playing in the NFL, he's on the Chiefs. No doubt about it.
I think it's a little bit of a wet blanket. Like, not a distraction, but someone that Mahomes is always going to feel like he has to throw the ball to. Whereas if you got rid of him, it'd be like, okay, now I can explore a little bit elsewhere. It's almost like too much of a safety valve.
Well, I mean, he's also
point.
the biggest superstar in the entire NFL. So that plays into it.
How about Colts re-signing Daniel Jones? They got a B for this. 2 years, $88 million, $50 guaranteed.
I think it made sense just to get off of that weird restrictive thing that they did with Daniel Jones because it maybe caused a bad situation. I don't know. This might be a little high of a grade, though. Are we sure
I'm
Daniel
ready to
Jones
just
is
zag
good?
on the Colts.
Are we sure he's good?
I'm here. I'm ready to zag on the Colts, and that their move to trading for Sauce Gardner is actually just going to turn out to be disastrous because trading 2 first-round picks for a cornerback is insane. And
Trading 2 first-round picks in general is insane, just first off, and then you figure out what it's for, yeah.
For a cornerback, when your quarterback's Daniel Jones, now all of a sudden you basically are sitting out of this year's draft and the next year's draft in the first round. I think that's insane. So I'm ready to zag and say this team is going to start getting worse before they get better. Any other ones? Oh, yeah, Ravens signing Trey Hendrickson. They got a B- for this. But I feel like it would have been...
For the context...
I feel like it would have been a B+ if that Max Crosby thing didn't rain down on that.
Yeah, you saved your 2 first-round picks in it. I almost would give it a better grade because of the Max Crosby thing. It's like, oh, you had to pivot. You had to do something else very quickly. They responded within 12 hours of the Crosby deal getting waxed, and they get to keep their firsts.
And you take away a great player from a divisional rival as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually with you. You've convinced me. I'm giving that an A-.
I think it's like a really good pivot move, yeah.
All right, 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt. I'll tell you what, after the show, I'm heading to the Greater Midland Community Center, your hub for health, wellness, and fun right here in Midland. From fitness classes and open gym swimming to youth sports and family activities, there's something for everyone. Affordable memberships, expert staff, and a welcoming space for all ages and abilities. If you're hosting an event, ask about their rental spaces and full-service event support. Stay active, stay connected, all under one roof at the Greater Midland Community Center.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. By Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, so we have our March Madness special coming up tomorrow. I'm really excited about that. But just in general, what's like your favorite aspect of March Madness? What's like the thing that you look forward to the most? The thing that, as of right now, we're 26 hours away from March Madness starting, 25 hours. What's the number one thing we're like, I can't wait for this?
I mean, it's so much to choose from because it really just consumes your life. No other sporting event like March Madness consumes everything going on in your life, and that's what makes it so unique. I will never understand people that just don't love March Madness. It's such an awesome event. And I think my favorite part, sneaky, because the first weekend is unreal. Like the first, and obviously the Sweet 16, Elite 8 games, Final Four, all that, it's awesome. But the first weekend is just ridiculously great. I think the round of 32 is actually my real favorite thing.
Ooh.
Like the round of 64 is what everyone, and I love the round of 64. Like I don't want to act like I'm out on the round of 64 because that's when you see the most crazy upsets. But the round of 32 is when, because you can basically chalk in all the 1 seeds to blow out the 16 seeds. So the round of 32 is when you get to see the real elite teams have some competition and potentially get upset. And there's always just some crazy good upsets in the round of 32. It's like, can this team, this 13 seed that won in round 1, actually get through the first weekend?
Yeah.
Like that's, you can win one game, which is great, and it's an awesome upset. Can you do it again? Can you bounce back 2 days later and play a team you have not even had an ounce of prep on and beat them again? Like the round of 32, I think, is so underrated in March Madness, and there's a lot of good matchups, by the way, that we're going to see potentially in the round of 32. Like Wisconsin, Arkansas, and that's my favorite part, I think.
Okay, I really like that answer because the madness, you're right. It just comes through us in the round of 64. It's the round with the most madness. But I do like the round of 32 because it's like you can focus a little bit more on one game at a time. But I think for that reason, I like the Sweet 16 a lot too because it really is like one game at a time and it's all day long on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or I guess
right.
That would just be Thursday,
yeah, that's true.
Friday.
You don't have to conflicting games of like, let me flip this on and then let's switch to this one. It's just all of them, yeah.
You know what I'm looking forward to? The first 3 hours when it's just like, okay, now it's one game. Okay, now it's two games. Okay, now it's three, and one of them's coming down to the wire.
Okay, should we get a game going on this TV or in that? Like, which one should we put here and there?
Do you know the first three games, how incredible they really are?
The TCU and Ohio State is first, right?
Yes, the first four games are as followed. TCU, Ohio State. I don't even need to sell you on the first game. The first game,
awesome
whatever
game.
it is just always going to be a fun thing to turn on. The second game that starts at 12:40, it's Troy versus Nebraska. Right away, we get to find out whether or not Nebraska's good. I'm all in.
I'm all in on Troy.
Really?
In on Troy.
Knocking off the Cornhuskers,
Correct.
who are, 6-6 in their last 12
I have
games?
Troy in the Sweet 16.
Oh, my God. You're spoiling our March Madness
I know.
special tomorrow. And then at 1:30, the third game to start, is Louisville and South Florida, the winner of which will play Michigan State if Michigan State pulls out a win.
And
so you're automatically scouting. So, 1, 2, 3, first
Bam.
three games, it's like, oh, these all rock. Then at 11:50, the fourth game to start, 20 minutes later, is Wisconsin, this team that could, if you told me they made it to the Elite Eight, wouldn't be totally shocked. If you told me they lost this game to High Point, wouldn't be totally shocked because it's maybe the most.
Yeah,
that's
going to be a 90 to 95 game.
Other than Bama, one of the most live and die by the three teams that exist in the tournament. You get the Big Ten aspect of it too. First four games are just incredible. And then you look at the rest of the schedule that day. It's like you get the Duke game, you get Vanderbilt and McNeese, the return of McNeese, and then I get to watch Darius Acuff at 4:25 as well. I'm in. Plus Michigan State at 4.
I was about to say, you get Michigan State and then Michigan later. You get both of them on Thursday too. It's actually incredible.
This goes back to the point we were making yesterday that the amount of teams that we have with big-time players, the storylines, the depth of the tournament this year is better than it's been in the last 6 tournaments?
Yeah,
since pre-COVID.
This is peak. If you are both a college basketball and an NBA fan, this is the absolutely ideal March Madness. There's so many teams that I think can win it this year. But I do think there is plenty, all of the 1 and 2 seeds, I think all can win it, which makes it fun. And then all of the top players are all playing in March Madness on good teams. It's not like they're all on these teams that barely snuck in.
I think this is the best depth we've had and top-end talent since pre-COVID, since the 2019 Zion draft where Michigan State knocked
There's
them out.
There's so many stars, man.
Elite Eight.
There's so many stars in college basketball this year, and they're all on good teams. That's the part that I'm super excited about. Noah says his favorite part is the random white guy that ruins the favorites. There's always one, man.
There is always one.
Who's the Jack
It's going to be the
Golke
guy
this year?
from not Yale.
From Penn?
Yeah, from Penn.
The Power guy who dropped 44 in their title game, yeah.
Is it TJ Power?
I think it's TJ Power, pretty sure, yeah.
I have them winning a couple games as well. I'm all in. I'm out on Illinois. They've got this big
Brad
team.
Underwood is pretty notorious for choking this time of year, yeah.
And Wagner's one of those guys that's just if you just kind of get physical with him and double team him the whole game, I'm not really sure if they're going to have what it takes. And I feel like he's a guy that might get kind of uncomfortable if you start doing the bully stuff to him. And if what is it, Point? No, it's Penn. Penn, yeah. If Penn can bring that sort of energy to him, I kind of think that they can pull that thing out.
You know, one thing that I am out on in March Madness is the second that a team that is on the verge of an upset, a crazy upset, that I never picked, of course, I'm throwing my bracket out the window. I could care less about my bracket if some 15 seed is up by 5 on a 2 seed with 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, not if you have that 2 seed winning.
No,
your
I don't.
whole
I literally don't even care. Throw the bracket out the window. Rooting against that is crazy to me.
See,
People
I
that
root
do
against
that,
it because in the long run, I'd rather that 2 seed happen. I'd rather that 2 seed be in there in the end.
Sure, but seeing the 15 seed win is just one of the coolest things. When you react to it like it's your favorite team just got upset by a 15 seed, I'm like, what are we doing here, man? This is March Madness. It's what it's all about.
Yeah, there were some games during the conference tournaments that I had that sort of reaction to. The SEC, some of those SEC games were just insane down the stretch.
Yeah.
Where it's just you would have thought I was a fan of that team because it's just oh. No way!
Ole Miss are in the semifinal. What they've played 5 straight days. Yeah, it's that's the best part about it to me is my bracket, whatever I picked, it flies out the window the second that some crazy upset that I never picked is happening.
Yeah, 989-837-6125. Here's what we're gonna do: 11 o'clock hour on the way. We're gonna talk a little more Tarek Skubal to kick things out, and then at 11:15 We're going to talk to our guy Al Karsten from prideofdetroit.com to talk about free agency, the pickup that the Lions had yesterday, in addition to biggest winners, losers, and we'll do contract mulligan with him as well. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, live here on 100.9 The Minute. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We're live right there, and we will be right back.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9.
Electric Studios. This is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mid. WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
So if you missed the open of the show today, I got pretty worked up about Tarek Skubal, and I've calmed down a lot since then. But I am still frustrated with how the World Baseball Classic panned out. I am still frustrated with the mentality that Team USA and a lot of the fans and local media has taken of, I'm just glad Tarek Skubal's back. It's an exhibition tournament anyway. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, good luck telling Venezuela that tournament didn't matter. Good freaking luck. They cared about it. DR cared about it. Everybody cared about it. And talent took the United States all the way to a championship, even though they didn't know the freaking rules of the game and what games mattered and what rules didn't, what games didn't. But talent alone couldn't get them over the hump. You know, the team that wanted it ended up winning the title. And I think a big reason, if you believe in karma, a big reason that the United States didn't win was Tarek Skubal basically opting out and saying, I'm going to be here, but I'm not going to pitch. I'm not going to pitch. I'm not going to put my contract on the line. I'm not going to put my arm on the line. I'm just getting ready for the season to start. Lame. All caps, lame. We had a chance to have an incredible tournament. And yes, I am comparing it to the Olympics because I think it has that sort of potential. Baseball, more than any other sport besides soccer, and I guess basketball's really coming into the stretch here in terms of the global aspect of it. Baseball's a global sport and always has been. From countries we don't really hear from all that much. South America, Central America, Japan. Like, we have some incredible baseball being played around the world. And the United States, it's America's pastime. It's not the present. That's not the sport they're the best. You could make the argument they're better than hockey at baseball right now. You just won a gold medal and beat Canada in doing it. United States completely fails and chokes in their own sport here. How does that feel? The way that everyone was poking fun at Canada, you lost at your own sport. You know, people making up songs, changing the lyrics to "Oh Canada," everyone's thinking that about the United States this morning. Yet we're doing the loser mentality of, oh, it's just an exhibition tournament. I wanted Tarek Skubal to get ready anyway. Screw that. That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing for everyone involved. You've got Tarek Skubal. I don't think he's directly saying it, but indirectly saying, well, I don't really care about this, so I'm going to join and sit out and be here. But just so everyone knows, my contract's more important to this. Okay, that tells us you don't care about this all that much. That tells us you're putting yourself above the World Baseball Classic, above Team United States. Hell, I'd say it means you're putting yourself above baseball as a whole, because if you care about baseball, you care about this tournament and putting it on the map on a global stage. I do think it's a similar comparison to the Olympics, both men's and women's, winter and summer. I do. Yet, we've got the best player on Team USA saying, this isn't as important to me as getting paid. I can't put my money aside and just go play for the country for free, like everyone did a couple of weeks ago with the hockey tournament, like everyone does in the Summer Olympics with basketball. He refused to do it. Get off the team then. Get out of the dugout. Get out of the locker room. I don't like the fact that he is there. I think it's embarrassing what he did to the United States yesterday. If he would have pitched, I know they needed help at the plate. I get that. They needed help at the plate. Tarek Skubal wouldn't have helped that. But it sends a message to everyone playing in the tournament, whether it's their opponents or their teammates, that he doesn't care that much. That, to me, is ultra frustrating, and I think part of the reason that they lost. Because everyone else on the team saw it and said, well, if he doesn't care about it, why should I? Maybe those thoughts weren't directly going through people's heads, but in their subconscious, you bet it was.
Yeah, I mean, once again, it's just something that we have been on now for a few weeks, and it makes you start to rethink a lot of the things that have happened over the years. But Skubal cares more about the contract than anything else, and he can put on this facade that he's all about the team, and he wanted to do anything he could do. He drove through a freaking rainstorm from Lakeland to Miami to get there and be a part of this group. Like, none of that stuff matters to me. He cares more about the money and the contract than anything else, and it's extremely frustrating. Now, obviously, if you're just a Tigers fan and this World Baseball Classic doesn't mean that much to you, I will push back a little bit from your perspective on that. I think that's okay. Like, if you're just a big-time Tigers fan and this World Baseball Classic is like, Will Vest is the only guy that's on Team USA, like, I don't really care that much. I'm just a huge Tigers fan. I think that's okay. I think you're allowed to have that perspective. But you also have to realize everything else that's happened with Skubal this offseason. Like, it's not just been about the World Baseball Classic. It's been about everything else. The Tigers are preparing for a future without Tarek Skubal, and I understand that all of our anger has been pointed at the Tigers for that. And the more and more the offseason goes on, my anger levels out. Like, I start to realize, man, like, this guy is just, he's this spotlight guy. He has become like the diva guy that you're just, man, like, they can't do anything when it comes to Tarek Skubal. And I wanted to touch on a couple, because we had a lot of really good feedback in our YouTube chat earlier when we talked about this.
Let's go. Let's hear it.
But like Super Sloth, he says, well, it's a business at the end of the day. We've heard it from enough players and teams that by now, how can we be surprised? And says it's sad that Skubal didn't want to compete, but not worth going this far overboard about it. He's not the player we thought, and it's going to hurt less to lose him.
I've already moved on mentally. I think I've accepted the fact that he's going to leave, and I'm honestly, in this moment, I'm not that sad about it. I will be, but I'm not that sad about it right now. I've got Kevin McGonigal to fantasize about.
Yet he's going to be pitching on our favorite team this season.
Opening day, he'll be there.
On an elite squad that has a real chance to like do some damage this year.
Yeah.
And that's the most frustrating part. LeDuc says the best pitcher in baseball had an opportunity to pitch last night in the biggest game of his career and took the night off while still pitching in an actual exhibition game in spring training.
That's a great way to put it, man. I can't believe there's people out there saying this is exhibition. Okay, if it's exhibition, why not just do this one with a way more fun crowd and against better opponents to get you geared up for the season than a meaningless spring training game? Talk about meaningless games. It ain't the World Baseball Classic. It's spring training, and he pitched in one of those earlier this week. I don't understand.
Yeah. Seriously.
Someone help me understand.
It makes no sense. BR says, embarrassed to be a Skubal fan today. Ever since this contract BS began, he's just been a diva.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to disagree with that. You know, it's really hard to separate Tarek Skubal, the baseball player, and Tarek Skubal, the guy, right now.
And I want the baseball player. That's all I want. I don't want anything else anymore. I want the second, because we can be mad at Tarek Skubal, right? Like, this is what's going to happen. We can be so mad at him all offseason, because we are. Like, I think we're pretty aligned on our viewpoint on Tarek Skubal right now. The second he puts on the Tigers uniform and pitches in the Tigers' first game of the year, I'm not going to think about all that stuff. I'm going to think about how much I enjoy watching him pitch, because he is a joy to watch.
I've got bad news for you.
He's a pleasure to watch pitch, and I know you're going to think the same way. I don't want to hear that you're going to be out on Skubal once he pitches.
I've got bad news for you, though. After every single outing he has, guess what's going to happen? Trade rumors. Trade talks.
That's always
contracts.
That's always been it, though.
But
it's going to be heightened this year, of course.
It's going to be heightened this year to a degree that we can't even imagine. There's going to be new pieces about this guy written every week. There's going to be new quotes from Scott Boras about a new contract. I'm sick of it. I think it's exhausting. It is exhausting keeping up with this guy.
And you know who's probably exhausting for? The team that employs him.
Yes.
Like, it's once again, it's more of this, I can't put everything in the Skubal situation on Chris Ilitch and the Tigers. Look who they're dealing with. They're dealing with this spotlight guy in Tarek Skubal that makes everything about him, and the biggest slimy agent there is in sports in Scott Boras.
Correct.
Like, that's who they're dealing with here. So I don't blame them for not being able to come to an agreement on this. I don't blame them for pivoting to Framber Valdez and trying to plan for a future without Skubal, because what else are they supposed to do?
No, I don't. Trust me, guys. I'm not a big Scott Boras guy either, but it's annoying to sit here and say it's his fault and no one else's. When Skubal's doing the media tours and the Detroit tours of, I love this city. This is home to me. This is my home. And then goes to a Red Wings game and a Lions game and shakes hands and takes pictures with Calvin Johnson. And it's like this whole weekend push of,
absolutely,
dude, this is BS. We're not idiots. We see through this. I understand. Like, it'd be one thing to go to a game. It'd be one thing to post a picture from Comerica Park. When you do all this nonsense in a 40-hour span and then just you're silent the rest of the offseason, yeah, dude, we see right through it. It is you trying to play games with the Tigers organization. You're not tricking us. You might like Detroit. You don't love it because you're tormenting us.
And like, the big thing is, Noah in your YouTube chat saying this, well, the dude just wants to get paid. Would you not? It's not about that. It's the fact
he's getting paid regardless.
If he would have, but like if he would have, the second the World Baseball Classic roster was announced and came out and said, yeah, I'm not going to be participating this year. I got to focus on the season, this and that. This never, I wouldn't have been upset about it.
No.
It's
but he wanted to ride the coattails of everybody else.
I'm going to pitch once, but then I'm going to leave. But man, I really want to go back because it's so much fun.
Yeah,
and these
woe
guys
is
are so
me.
good.
Woe is me.
Like,
I want to pitch another game, but I don't know if I should.
It's all of that. It'd be way different if he took the approach that the Tigers fans are backing him for right now, that he doesn't want to get injured and he wants to focus on the season. Sure, you can do all that. Take that approach from the very start. Don't do this half in, half out type of situation and then act like you're the victim. You did this. You made this decision.
You know how people got frustrated with Giannis this season, where it's like he's soft asking for a trade for
but
3
won't
months.
Actually do it right.
Doesn't that kind of feel like the Tarek Skubal situation of like, I want to play, but I know I shouldn't, but like I really want to. And it's like, and then it's the same thing with staying with the Tigers. I love Detroit. I don't want to leave. Like, this is the last thing I want to do, but I have to move on. It's like, dude, cut that out. You're either here or you're not. And we all know you are not going to be. in the long run. So cut the BS of, I love it here. It's not my fault that I'm leaving.
Oh, these guys
yes,
are
it
so
is.
I can't miss the time to hang with these guys in the locker room. Like, did
And
you think it was going to suck?
and this
Did you
isn't-
think it was going to be bad?
And this isn't going to end, Kyle. Like, this is going to continue throughout the season. If
Just
he's
with
going
the
to
Tigers, yeah.
milk it.
I
I
love
love
Detroit.
Comerica
Man,
Park.
these guys, I love the fans
Great.
so much. I want to be here so bad, but I just can't.
There's no other. How long until the season? I'll give you over under June 1st before he says there's no other team I'd rather play for than the Detroit Tigers.
Under. He's going to say that after his opening day start. I mean, like,
And it's all BS.
all he cares about is the headlines and the spotlight. It's all that is going on with Tarek Skubal. And it sucks because he's so fun to watch pitch. That's the part about it that sucks the most.
989-837-6125. We're going to talk to our guy, Al Karsten, the biggest football nerd out there for the Detroit Lions. I say that in the best way possible. He is joining the show next. Stay tuned. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on the Mid. 11 o'clock hour, as always, is brought to you by our friends over at Yiter Insurance Group. Life happens fast, and at Yiter Insurance, they're here to make sure you're covered every step of the way. Locally owned and trusted in Midland for decades, they treat you like family, not just another policy number. From home and auto to business and life insurance, Yiter is the right coverage for every stage of life. Their team makes insurance simple with expert advice and real people you can actually talk to. That's Yiter Insurance Group. We'll be there when you need us since 1940.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, Al Karsten, prideofdetroit.com. I like to call him the biggest Lions football nerd out there. I say that in a good way. I also feel like this offseason, Al, you've taken a very optimistic approach to how the Lions have tackled free agency so far. And I feel like I needed a little bit of that in my life. So that's why you're here with us today. So here's where I've kind of landed on free agency up to this point. I like all the moves individually. I think Cade Mays, that's got to be an upgrade over Graham Glasgow. I'm not all that convinced Cade Mays is going to be like incredible. You can spin it one way or another with the guy, but I like Pacheco. I really like Roger McCreary. I like all these moves individually, but then I look at the roster right now and I look at it what it was at the end of last year, and I still feel like they're worse as a team. So I'm a little bit conflicted.
You're saying from the end of 2025 or from last season at this point?
Last season at this point.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you look at it. I think at least the Lions know that I'm going to take a fancy britches approach. I'm going to say it's a tie. I'm happy because they found Drew Petzing. I think that's a big win, and they have year 2 of Kelvin Shepherd now, so that's also a win. But when you look overall at the roster, which I do think those 2 coordinators will uplift the players they have. Yeah, man, it's the uncertainty with the injuries for Branch, Joseph Laporta, and now Decker retiring after losing Frank Ragnow the previous year is tough. The attrition's hard, injuries are tough, and they haven't found impact players in free agency outside of hopefully Cade Mays and maybe your guy Roger McCreary. But I'd like to think that the draft is where he's going to get back to Brad Holmes getting back to his bread and butter and finding 3 or 4 starters there, day 1 starters.
Okay, so first round then, is it just pretty clearly an offensive tackle? Because they finally addressed edge last night, and we can get into that in a second too. But whatever mock draft you're looking at, it seems like it's 50-50 split between an edge rusher and an offensive lineman. And I don't know if I've told you my theory about the edge rusher stuff. It's like, okay, I think anyone playing across from Aiden Hutchinson's just going to be able to put up halfway decent numbers. So I'm fine with that being a Band-Aid fix year in and year out. I think the clear need is offensive line. But it does concern me a little bit that it's like, hey, we're drafting based on needs this year, where they haven't done that typically in the past. I think the only other time where you can really say that was when they took Terrion Arnold.
2024.
Yeah, now exactly. It feels like they're in a situation where they might be handcuffed to taking an offensive tackle, because maybe I'm wrong about Larry Borum. That to me is clearly saying he's an offensive tackle 3, not the starter long term.
I think he's a serviceable replacement level, slightly above average if he's at right tackle. Larry Borum, that is. A player who was moved around a lot early in his career with the Bears, and if he's able to settle in at right tackle, I think could have some surprising snaps at right tackle, where he's not a liability. I think that'd be a step. But yeah, ideally, he's just a massive upgrade over Dan Skipper, right? From the draft standpoint, I like to think that, yes, they seem to be backed in a corner where they need an offensive tackle and they need an edge within those 2 first picks in the top 50. But this draft does play well into their hand that if they go grab an offensive tackle at 17, that makes sense before the cliff falls off at offensive tackle. You get a guy who can hopefully start by, early October, if not by day 1. And that's where Borum can fit in, and his versatility, as well as the possibility to move Sewell to left tackle there. But also, the edge group is deep, and I don't, there's going to be some guys that go early, the Baines, Baileys of the world and everything. But I really think by the 50th pick, they'll have a few different flavors, a few options that are still quality players who should be above average players by the time, November hits of their rookie season.
So since we're on the topic of edge rusher, last night, I don't know, 7 p.m.-ish, they signed, Is it Wonham or Woonham? I haven't seen
Wonham.
it. Wonham, okay.
Wonham, DJ Wonham.
They signed DJ Wonham. He spent the last 4 years in Carolina. Last couple of years
last,
in Carolina.
Last 2 years, yeah.
Last couple of years in Carolina, and then before that, he was with Minnesota. Consistency across the board when you pull up the pro reference in terms of the total sacks. What was your first reaction when you saw this? Because mine was, well, is this an edge rusher? Is this a defensive lineman? Is this an outside linebacker? Because he's listed a few different things. So you're a tape grinder. What do you got to say about this guy?
And he has been in a lot of those odd fronts where he's been more of a 2-point stance outside shoulder of the offensive tackle as a pro. Um, and I think he's kind of what you said he'd be. He's someone over the last week, as we started to put it under a further microscope, I realized, yeah, he might be an option. That makes sense if they ever do pull the trigger on an edge. He's someone that he's replacement level starter at both run defense and pass rush. He's not necessarily a liability, but he's not a plus, especially as a pass rusher. He's not a plus, but he's someone that you hope that the contract that was first reported from his agent to the insiders, where it says worth up to 6 million, you hope the worth up to is doing a lot of heavy lifting. You hope that there's at least 2 million in incentives that, hey, if he hits it, that's great. If he gets 6 sacks, that's amazing. If he plays 16 games, we're freaking thrilled. And he is a durable player there, but he's not someone that will turn around into a compensatory pick, next year. He's not someone that might sign with another team for, 30 million over 3 years next offseason, which I think there are some other options, at least at the beginning of free agency, that would provide a little more higher upside. And they've kind of figured out who Wanham is at this point, and he's more available than, Marcus Davenport and Josh Pascal, and he's available on rundowns as opposed to Al-Qadim Muhammad. So I do understand the well-rounded aspect there, but he's also a guy who's played with, essentially 5 defense coordinators, co-defense coordinators his first few years in Minnesota, and then Ed Donatel for the year, then Flores, and then Ejiro Evero. And those last 2 guys, Flores and Ejiro Evero, you'd like to think they put him in his best position to succeed, and you haven't seen something that's, game-breaking yet. He's a long-limbed guy, strong hands, not really active hands, and he's durable, he's got a motor, and, he can drop into coverage 3 times a game, if you will. So, For me, I wrote 2 articles last offseason, 21 free agent defensive ends, and I just kept waiting for answers. I did a lot of prospects in the draft last year looking for defensive end answers. And for this to finally be the external answer is a little underwhelming. You wish you'd get someone with a little more twitch, a little more burst, a little body type, different, that's exciting for the defense, but I'll take it.
Well, even though the draft is deep in terms of the edge rushers, I wouldn't be mad at all if they just at some point this offseason, it's like, hey, here's Cam Jordan too. Now they've got 2 edge guys, and they don't necessarily
I feel
have
better
to.
about that.
Yeah. I don't think they should be handcuffed to not being able to. They don't have to be handcuffed to this guy and not go bring in another edge rusher in free agency. I'd be all in on doing a Cam Jordan thing, and again, doing it on a year-to-year basis, Band-Aid over it. Sometimes Band-Aids work, and sometimes Band-Aids are useful. Then they can use the draft to address some other spots and maybe draft an edge rusher as well at some point, because at some point they're going to need a long-term answer to that. So on the defensive
completely
line,
agree there. Just really quick with going into the 53-man roster, I just want to say the other guys on the roster, Ahmed Hassani and Tyler Lacey, the Lions are better off if either of them are proving they deserve a spot as defensive end 5 going into September.
Yeah.
That's why let's get some more guys there. I don't want them having to play 300 snaps next year.
I'm with you there. While we're on the topic of the defensive line, I didn't send this to you, but I think the biggest winner so far through free agency has been Levi Wunzurike. Somehow the Brad Holmes second overall pick all the way back when in his inaugural draft, he doesn't get cut the way that Josh Pascal does. They don't re-sign Roy Lopez, and up until last night they didn't have an edge rusher, and I'm sitting here like, oh my God, we're here again. They have carved out a role for him on this team, or at the very least on this roster, for him to go compete and make the roster. I go back to 24. He had a really good season. He played all over on the defensive line, whether it's as a true D tackle in that 4-eye hybrid spot or all the way out on the outside. I like having versatile players that can do multiple things on the defensive line, all over the defense, really. And the Lions have showed they value that too with how many guys they get like that in the secondary. Am I crazy, or are they just telling us straight to our face, Levi Wunzurike is going to be a part of this team again?
I think when Brad Holmes was at the NFL scouting combine, he lit up when he talked about Levi Wunzurike, and he was a little downtrodden when he talked about Josh Pascal. And I think that, foretold their fortunes with this team. And I think Levi is such a useful player, the way that he can play when he's playing,
Right.
the way he can play 3-tech, the way he can beat the crap out of an offensive tackle, the way he can be, a 7 technique sometimes on the goal line. I really like him. I think he was the best defensive lineman for the team down the stretch in 2024, and he was a solid addition even in 2023 when he started to show those sparks. So I think he, it wasn't his back last year. It was his leg. It was his leg early. He should be 100% this year. I think Justin Rogers had confirmed that his back is not an issue, and that's good to hear. So yeah, I think he could be a valuable player that can get after the quarterback and provide some nice run snaps too. So I'm excited for Levi. I think he'll be a useful player for them.
It's a tough sell to the fans, but I agree with everything that you're saying, that like in theory, if he's healthy, he's a pretty useful player on this defensive line. Who's been your favorite pickup externally that the Lions have had? We can open this up to, I guess, if you really want to have Juice Scruggs as your answer, feel free to do that. But who's been your favorite pickup externally that they've had?
I didn't mind Scruggs getting tacked onto that trade. I thought that was a good job by Brett Holmes to grease the wheels a little bit and really concerned about the depth of the offensive line. That was nice. But I have to go with Cade Mays here. I'm an offensive line guy. And I just think for the two things that they learned last year is he's someone who can help reset the line of scrimmage. He can handle those nose tackles. So he can help the point of attack. He can help those guards, and he can help with the rushing lanes, just having a little more room with his power. And then I think the pocket integrity. I think Jared Goff won't have to worry about the pocket collapsing, and just the pocket integrity will be huge. Those two things I think had to be the biggest selling points, along with the fact that he is only 21 career starts at center into his career at the pivot. He played all over the place, left tackle, right guard in college at both Georgia and Tennessee. And then the Panthers early on, and his first two head coaches there had him playing fullback, left guard, right guard before he finally got to settle in at center. So you like to think, hey, could he be a fringe top 10 center? If that's the case, and they now have the cornerstones and they got to solidify answers that, hey, Ratledge permanently, right guard. That rocks, man. Like, that's cool. So they have him and they have Sewell. If he's their third, fourth best offensive lineman, I think that's a win. I think that's better than last year.
Yeah, he could definitely play up to that contract too. It's a team-friendly contract for the most part,
Absolutely.
considering what else happened in the center market across free agency. I would go with Roger McCreary as my favorite pickup. I think I just live by the fact that, okay, if the Rams were looking to trade for him, there's clearly something there. I thought he was going to be worth more than the money that they ended up getting him for. That came out this morning. You sent it to me, $1.4 million. Again, like anytime the Rams are going to be interested in someone, I think it's going to pique my interest because that's usually a smart organization in what they're doing. Didn't work out there with him, ended up getting hurt, but this is, in my mind, the Amik Robertson replacement, someone who can play inside as the nickel, can bounce him outside if need be, plays really well in the box in terms of the run game as well. I'm a big fan of this one. I think there's some upside here.
I think he checks the 4 boxes they're really looking for this offseason. Youth, durability, availability, versatility, and then also just he's feisty. Yeah. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He's feisty. I think the really cool thing about Roger McCreary, and I love that you pointed out that, hey, the Rams wanted him in October. They wanted him for that postseason run. They had plans for him. Really competent franchise. I was surprised when the Titans honestly gave up on him. I thought he was someone they would bring back, But the cool thing about McCreary is if you go back to like his senior year at Auburn and when he won the best player at the Senior Bowl, best DB at Senior Bowl, if you look at the guys he was matched up with week in and week out, it started against Akron with Keontae Mumfield, an NFL player now, but then he had Penn State and he was playing John Dotson and Parker Washington, and then Treylon Burks for Arkansas, and then he's got LSU and his Kayshon Boutte and Brian Thomas Jr., and then it was Jameson Williams. He had a gauntlet. Like, he is a competitor who has a lot of experience against high caliber players.
It's kind of like Amik in that way, because remember, Amik always matched up really well against Jefferson because they went all the way back. So there's some nice, there's some nice alignment there. All right, this next thing I have for you, this was a segment Kyle and I did earlier on the show. Could probably spend 2 hours talking about this. We'll try to keep it 5 minutes or so. We were playing a game called Contract Mulligan, basically looking at all the contracts that Brad Holmes has handed out. Because I think in theory, when a player gets a contract, it's celebrated. It's like, oh, we got him locked down long term. And now with the cap situation, I know they freed up some money with Jared Goff, but that's just kicking the can down the road. They're going to have to deal with it at some point. Now their backs are a little bit more against the wall in terms of what they can do in free agency, and that's maybe part of the reason there's not been a splash signing. And I know you don't like the word splash, but for lack of a better word, if you could redo one of these contracts, which one would it be? Because Kyle and I were kind of in agreement. The Ali McNeil deal is like, wow, that's a lot of money for the next 3 seasons.
It is. It is. I mean, it doesn't look great now. Back-to-back injuries, or coming off the injury and then recovering there. But I'm not going to go that route. I think that's unfair. Let's see the guy 100% healthy because I mean, even going back to 2022, that Giants game, 2023, early 2024, there were games he completely took over from the interior, and when they didn't really get to see him at his best and Aiden Hutchinson at his best yet. So I am holding out hope for Lee McNeil. I understand that signing. Another one, hindsight, Kirby Joseph, doesn't look good. But for me, and you are right, when those, on Twitter, there's a lot of backslapping and there's a lot of thumbs being like, hey, another guy that they got at a hometown discount, they got him in early and they're just celebrating some of these internal hires or internal extensions. But at one that my mulligan, I'm going to use it on Derek Barnes.
Yep. That was another one I had.
And I mean, if you look at, the Super Bowl champion Seahawks, when they had their foundational 2022 NFL draft, Charles Cross and Abraham Lucas really are the two guys that they still have, internally. They let Boye Mafe, their second round pick, walk. They let Kenneth Walker, their second round pick and Super Bowl MVP, walk. They let Kobe Bryant walk for a nice payday. And same with Tariq Woolen. He's now with the Eagles. I think what Brad has to learn how to do sometimes is, yeah, you can be attached to a player and see them developing and like some of their skill sets, but you don't have to re-sign everyone. If you look at that linebacker market, you start to wonder, like, who else would they prefer for what are the 8 million AAV? And to me, Derek Barnes, I liked some of what he showed early, in 2023, and then early, really early 2024 before he got hurt. And I know he was coming off an injury last year, but to me, he is just a master of none. They like that he can kind of do Sam, but I don't even know if there's a successful plan there. I don't know if he can sit in and play well either, and become an Anzalone, who there's no way in hell that he's going to be doing as much man coverage as Anzalone. So I don't know what his role is, and I feel like they are tethered to him a little bit, and we haven't seen him outplay that contract at all yet. And that's someone who it kind of also reminds me, this defense is a little hamstrung by being slow. It's one of my issues with this defense is got some slow players. We are not the twitchiest defense. We are not the biggest swarm defense. They are smart and they are tough and they are big, but they're a little slower. And I think he's a player who epitomizes that to some degree.
Yeah, $9 million this year, $9 million next year in terms of the salary cap hit.
Go look at the other guys.
Yeah,
and they play man coverage.
It's not great, and $9 million's not as much as some of the other big time contracts
not,
that he's handed
right.
out, but it does feel like you're a little bit, like you said, handcuffed to him. In terms of, like, you could have replaced him if he just wasn't under contract, and you could have found someone just as good, if not better, for $9 million. And now it's like, we can't really move on. He's kind of just has to be the Alex Anzalone replacement. So, yeah, that's a good answer too. But the McNeil one, like, I'm not going to sit here and say I never think he's going to bounce back and be as good as he was, because his progression for 3 years was very linear, and it felt like Brad Holmes paid him as if that was going to continue to happen. And the injury is obviously a big setback. The only reason I would choose it as my mulligan is if you just never paid him and it turned into this, like, oh, he's going into his last year without an extension, and then he ends up getting hurt. What does that price look like for this offseason? Because I really think there's a good chance they could get him for like half the price. That's why I think it's a contract mulligan for me, is like, dude, you could, like, the $28 million could very well be $14-15 million, and then all of a sudden that's just a ton of money freed up. And, like, I'm not saying Lee McNeil didn't deserve the contract that he got, but he certainly hasn't played to it yet, and this is the first year he's on the books for that big-time contract, which is like, hey, man, we basically need you to be a Pro Bowl defensive tackle, or at least up to that standard. I don't think that's impossible to happen, but it's certainly like a, wow, we're asking a lot more of a Lee McNeil than we ever have before. That's the only reason I chose it as my mulligan.
I mean, yeah, you go and watch that Cowboys game that Hutch got hurt in 2024, and that guy was dominating that interior offensive line. And you go watch the Saints game 2023 when they were starting to get hot. I know he got hurt that game, but like he was everywhere. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Giants game 2022, Panthers game 2023. There are so many games where he put together a full game. And like I think they were just betting on those traits from the interior player who also like fit the culture, also worked hard, and also is a good run defender who also can kick inside if they did need be. He hasn't been doing it as much as a one technique, but he's a guy who can play on every down, and he does have a little bit of that quickness first step when he's fully healthy. So if you can collapse a pocket with a 320-pound man, you should pay him every time. That one I understand. I think safeties, linebackers can be replaceable, other positions, but that's a hard quantity to find.
Well, for everybody's sake, I hope he does live up to it, and I hope he is a Pro Bowler this year. Al Karsten, prideofdetroit.com. Appreciate you taking the time, stopping by, joining us here on the show. Always good catching up again. You guys can follow him on Twitter and read his stuff at prideofdetroit.com. You guys do a good job over there.
It's a great team. All right. Thanks as always, fellas.
Peace out. All right. When we come back, we have our 3 traditions to close out every show. It's the Ben Bosscher Show here on 100.9 The Mid.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid. Built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, we have 3 traditions to close out every show. The first of those traditions is our Lock of the Day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
So Alex Bregman didn't hit a home run yesterday. I am feeling a little bit ambitious, just like aggressive this week. I just want to hit one bet this week.
This would happen to you in 2025, man.
I know. I just want to hit one and cover myself for the week. That's kind of what I've just already embraced for the week. So it's Wednesday.
Is it the March Madness fever, you think?
Yeah.
That's like kind of like getting to you.
I've
Like I want to
gone
hit
mad.
a crazy bet.
I've gone mad.
Right.
Mad scientist. So today I have SMU to never trail. For them to take a lead and never be losing ever to Miami, Ohio in the play-in game tonight. Or as some are just calling them, Miami.
Miami University, correct.
Yeah. Miami was 230. Oh, my God. 271st in strength of schedule. This is the first time they're actually playing someone halfway decent. And I don't think SMU's this, like, crazy team, but they at
Is that
least
a dig at the MAC? Better
Yeah.
not be.
In a way, it is. SMU has wins over Louisville and North Carolina, like 2 tournament teams. So I think the first time that Miami runs into a team with a little bit more size, a little bit more depth, they're going to struggle, is my prediction. I think they totally are worthy of being in this spot, but I'm going to go with SMU to never trail in this game. They go up 4-0, and Miami just from the jump struggles to score.
So the team that lost one game the whole season
Yes,
will be losing the whole game.
that is the bet.
That seems like a really risky thing to do.
Plus 650.
Plus 650 for a reason. This is just a really bad bet.
Okay.
I mean, like, they could just score the first point. Like, they could just get the ball first and score, and it's over.
See, that's I'm kind of calling for a blowout here.
It can be a blowout. Like, Miami could go up 2-0 and lose by 30. Like, but they go up 2-0. Like,
What an exhilarating bet this is to follow, though. Like you
could end so early,
basically
yeah.
have first basket, but you also like are you don't
It
get
has
to win
to be
your
a blowout.
bet. You don't get to win your bet until the very end.
It has to be a blowout early because if this is a single-digit game, Miami will get a lead at some point. They won't just be losing the whole time. So, yeah, I'm going to obviously fade this.
But you're calling for Miami to win like 6 games here in March Madness.
No,
aren't you?
I actually don't really feel great about Miami tonight. I don't like you said, I don't love this matchup for them. So I don't know if they're going to win this game. They're 9-point underdogs for a reason. Like, so I don't think they get blown out to the point where they're never winning, though. That seems a little bit odd. But yeah, I don't think Miami is going to win tonight. I'm rooting for them to, certainly, but I don't think it's going to happen. But I'm going to fade this.
It's disappointing.
Noah wants me to update the people, by the way.
Go ahead.
0-2 this week.
Yeah.
24-24-1 on the picks here in 2026. You've been above 500 basically the whole way record-wise. You're still above, you're positive, though, in 2026. 1.76 units up. You're only 0.7 units up in the month of March, though. So basically have to hit this today or else you're going to go down in March for the first time. You've been up the whole month so far. So, yeah. Going to have some fun March Madness picks, though, I assume, for tomorrow and Friday.
Yeah.
And, I mean, this is a fun March Madness pick, too.
What do we think about, there's like a bet, I won't do this as a lock of the day, but there's a bet on March Madness buzzer beaters throughout the whole tournament, over under 1.5. It's tricky because you think there's a ton of buzzer beaters.
It has to be a buzzer beater, though.
But a lot of times it's a game winner with like 0.3.
Like what we saw with
0.4
Texas
Yes.
last night. That shot was hit with like 1 second left on the clock.
Which is essentially a buzzer beater because you can't advance the ball in college. Which, you know how sometimes once in a while we do if you could change one rule in sports, what would it be? I don't know if we've ever approached the college basketball should be able to advance the ball with the timeout in the last minute, but I'm very much on board
You're
for
in on that?
Yeah, it'd lead to more
Okay.
buzzer beaters.
Yeah,
It'd lead
you're
to
right.
way more fun. Like
That's true.
It sucks when it's like, oh, someone hit a buzzer beater with 1.5 seconds left, because in an NBA game you get to move and you actually can get a halfway decent shot off. It's basically over in college. There's no way you're going to be able to
Start
catch the
telling
ball.
that to Christian Leitner.
Sure,
And Grant Hill.
Yeah, it's
It's a once
just
in a lifetime play. Obviously,
really, really tough today to get a shot off with anything less than 3 seconds if you have to go full court.
Totally.
That's
yeah.
the rule I would change. That's why I would take the under in the 1.5. I hope it's over.
I would take the under too. It does take away a lot of like crazy moments that have happened, but you're right. Like even the Jordan Poole 3, which I think was to the date yesterday, which is pretty cool that it happened.
Mm-hmm.
But like that play, if you advance the ball on that play, you never get it. But obviously, like it would create more buzzer beaters.
Yeah, but there was like 4 seconds left.
Yeah,
when
they got
inbounded it?
Yeah, Abdul Rahman got the ball up the floor in time, kick it to Poole. Yeah, like it was a great play.
That's probably my favorite March Madness moment.
John Beeline yesterday said that Abdul Rahman is his most underrated player that's ever played at Michigan for him.
Really?
Yeah, kind of an interesting one.
Best March Madness moment of all time. I would go, for me personally.
I was about to say, is it ever or just like what for your favorite personally? Yeah, that's different.
Both. I think it'd be Michigan, buzzer beater, Jordan Poole over Texas Tech. It would be
Houston, yep.
It would be Villanova's buzzer beater, their big man, hitting the trailing 3.
Chris Jenkins, yep.
Yep,
For the
incredible.
win. And Marcus Page's shot in that game just always gets forgotten because he hit the double for
Yes.
UNC, the double clutch 3 to tie the game. It's one of the greatest shots ever, and it just never gets remembered because it just got outshined by Chris Jenkins.
And this isn't necessarily a moment, but the entire Michigan State versus Duke game where they beat Zion in the Elite Eight, also incredible. All 3 of those are my favorites.
The Kenny Goins shot over Duke, I have it framed in my office at my place. I got it the second that it happened. Like that is one of the peak moments of fandom for me, for sure.
That's your moment?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that is our lock of the day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
All right, next tradition. What's our must-see TV of the day?
Game of the day.
I was going to go with if Miami was undefeated, it would certainly be them, but they're not undefeated anymore, and at the end of the day, this is a play-in game.
You're not taking this game?
No, I'm gonna go with the Lakers off of 6 straight wins. They're going up against the Rockets today. Lakers, third longest winning streak in the NBA. How many points per game do you think Luka's averaging over this stretch? Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, a third time. Yeah, no, for sure. The answer is 38 points per game. And they're going up against a Houston team. You get the LeBron, the KD, you get a physical team. Yeah, I'm going with the Lakers and Rockets. And then this is the last day we'll have NBA in the lock of the day or game of the day or anything for a while.
We do not care.
Okay, that is our game of the day.
Game of the day.
All right, final tradition. What's Colin Cowherd going to open his show with today?
You mean who is J-Mac going to open with?
Oh, yes, because Colin's...
Or what is?
Yeah, now Colin's like,
well, maybe he
college
comes back.
basketball, I'm
Right.
good.
The one time that college basketball is important? Yeah, no thanks. Maybe he comes back tomorrow. Maybe.
Nah, if you're gone on Monday,
Right.
Tuesday, no way you're working Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, unless it's sick days.
Right. I did get a point yesterday.
Do you want to
by
hear
the way.
something crazy?
Sure.
So a lot of times when Colin's on vacation, which is a lot, he's in Park City, Utah. I went to
You were
Park
there.
City, Utah. We show up.
You saw him.
I wish. I was thinking the whole drive there. I was hoping. I was like,
What would you do if you saw? Sorry, not to interrupt your story, but like, would you totally fanboy out, or
No,
would you like explain who you are?
I mapped this out. Said, Colin, like, you don't know who I am, but you've been. I don't know. I'm not going to do my whole spiel, but I'd tell him like, hey, like you're a big reason I have the job I do now. I grew up listening to you every day. I wanted to do something like that, and when we flipped from an ESPN station to a Fox station hired me on to do a show. I end my show every day guessing what you're going to open with.
See, I thought you were gonna say you go up to him and be like, dude, last Tuesday, how did you open with this instead of that?
He'd probably be more impressed with that if that I remembered
yeah.
it. No, but we show up to this, and I'm thinking the whole time, like, what happens if I see Colin Cowherd? Because I knew he didn't do a show most of last week, and he's in Park City all the time. We show up. First 3 seconds we're there. We get onto the main street, and there's a fire marshal saying, like, this way, this way, this way. And we're like, what's going on? Bomb threat. There was a bomb threat to the city, so we had to evacuate this
From
entire
Colin
strip.
Cowherd?
No, not from Colin Cowherd. I don't know who.
Sorry, I shouldn't joke about that.
Some random guy.
What the heck?
Yeah, so I just we showed up and it was just like, you have to
terrible.
leave.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. So we just went to a different street and
Interesting.
started drinking beers.
Okay. In Utah too, man.
And that's
It's
my
a
whole story.
Frowned
Yep.
upon place to do that. Anyways, I got a point yesterday. J-Mac did lead with Jalen Waddle to the Broncos.
So
It's
smart.
47-43, man. I'm cutting this thing down. I've been down by a lot for quite some time. It's only a 4-point game here, kind of like Miami, never been leading.
Yeah.
is there going to be a time where I can? It's also my turn to go first. Gary says this is a gimme in the YouTube chat. And Gary, I think when it's J-Mac on the show, I don't think it's ever a gimme. Team USA losing to Venezuela in the World Baseball Classic should absolutely be the lead. I don't know if J-Mac has ever watched a baseball game in his life. I mean, like, the guy never talks about baseball unless it's like a grand scheme LA Dodgers. They pay all their guys just like, he'll relate the Dodgers to the Lakers. So I'm going to guess it because I legit don't know what else it would be, but I'm not extremely confident in it. That it should be the Team USA fumble of the World Baseball Classic. That's what I'm going to pick. I don't know if it's the right answer, though.
I see. I was hoping you'd convince yourself that it was something else, and I was just going to be able to come in and steal that. Because it's for sure what he's leading.
It has to be. It has to be, man. If he doesn't, it's a disgrace. You got 20 seconds to pick.
I just got a notification that Lamar Jackson's now boxing. That's cool.
There's his lead.
I got nothing else. I'll go with WNBA collective bargaining agreement. It's not going to be what it is, but that's the only thing I got.
That's great.
All right, March Madness special tomorrow. Really excited about tomorrow's